Yeah, Gary, you are really motoring now. Right, guys? We forgot Squidward!
Let's kick things off with a snowy, frozen episode. I'm talking about Frozen Face Off from Season 8. This episode is all about like a worm sledding race, which is really cool, but more importantly, it's what you guys are here for. It has some mistakes, 3 to be exact, and they're really rough. Here's the first one. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
We're too late!
We'll see about that, boyo.
Whoa, you can't cut in line!
So this one will really need to slow things down for it to be, detectable, but when everyone cuts in line during this scene, let's take a look at SpongeBob's pupil as it blinks blue 4 times. Like, look at this. I'm gonna show it in slow motion again. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That's pretty rough. I don't think SpongeBob's pupil is supposed to be blue. It's supposed to be black, so this was a pretty rough mistake. And here's another one from this episode. This episode has a lot of errors.
I hate to break up story time, but I'd like to not get eaten today.
So this one you really need to be paying close attention to, just like that last one. But after Sandy says, "I'd hate to break up story time, but I'd like to not get eaten today," same Sandy, and everyone starts running towards the sleigh. Let's take a look at our favorite little yellow sponge over here, as the right side of SpongeBob's white shirt is for some reason red for one single frame. Like, I'm zooming in right here and it's red. This is how SpongeBob's pants normally look right here. Here's a shot from like another episode, but in this one scene, it's just red right here, which is totally a mistake. And guys, there's another one in this episode. It's wild. Roll the footage.
Tell me, Mr. Krabs, you peeled back those tentacles with your bare claws. You single-handedly saved your vessel from certain doom.
Nope, that didn't work.
Dude, the mistakes in Frozen Face Off are really, really bad, and this next one is the worst. So, when Mr. Krabs says, "Nope, that didn't work," let's take a look at Mr. Krabs, as there's this weird orange spacing between his eyes for a frame. Like, this is really weird, dude. Like, I'm gonna zoom in right here. Look at this. I'm circling it. This little orange spot should not be here. It should just be the sky behind them, like the background. So, really rough mistake, man. And guys, there's more. Let's head over to another episode with an even worse mistake. Let's do it. Let's go.
Can a hard-working squid get a little TV time alone? SpongeBob! Patrick!
So let's head back to season 4 for this one. I personally do not like season 4. Like, aside from like the original Fry Cook episode and the one where it's like Plankton and Mr. Krabs' origin story, aside from those 2 episodes, I hate this season. But the episode is the thing from season 4. And we're only gonna cover one mistake, and let's make it quick. It's still pretty spicy though. Roll the footage.
Hit them like a truck full of cement!
So for this one, guys, I really need you to listen closely, as it's kind of complicated. So I want you to look at this scene. Look at the background, all right? Before Squidward hits the cement truck, as you can see, the environment is a street, all right? They're on a street. It's right here. You can see it. But after Squidward hits the cement truck and rolls down covered in cement, poor Squidward, dude. Like, imagine getting covered in cement. Look at the scene now as it changed from that street to like a grassy field. Like, this is really weird. I'm gonna show a side-by-side of how the background look. And this all happened in a matter of like 30 seconds. So totally a mistake here. The environment and background of a scene doesn't just change randomly. The animators just messed up. And we're gonna keep it going. Here's another episode, guys, with more mistakes. Next up is a season 1 banger of an episode, Squeaky Boots. This episode is all about Mr. Krabs being a really bad dad and getting his daughter a pair of like old boots. Here, I actually want to give you guys some context. It's really funny, and then we're gonna get into the mistakes. Roll some funny footage of Mr. Krabs being greedy in this episode. Our boy is greedy.
What if I give you my paycheck?
You got a deal.
And what if I paint the Krusty Krab for free?
You got a deal.
And I'll throw in a year's supply of French fry oil.
You got a hold on.
Yeah, like imagine Mr. Krabs being your dad. You tell him you'd want a PS5 for Christmas, and he'd go and get you like a PS2 off of like eBay or something. But anyways, let's get into the mistakes. Here's the first one.
Who's that?
Oh, well, his name's not important, but he was famous all right. Don't you worry.
I'm ready. I want those boots.
This is another type of mistake where you look at it and you're like, what happened here? So when SpongeBob says, I'm ready, I want those boots, in this scene, let's pause as his upper legs are colored white instead of yellow. I don't even think I need to show you guys this, but here's a picture of SpongeBob from another episode, and as you can see, his legs are yellow. They've always been yellow, as a matter of fact. But in this one scene, it's not even for a frame, it's for a couple of seconds, his upper legs are just white. They're just the same color as his socks, which is brutal, dude. Like, this is a really bad mistake. And of course, there's more. Season 1 has a lot of mistakes, especially squeaky boots. Roll the footage.
Boots! I'm sorry, but I can't take the infernal squeaking no more!
Now you need to be a real SpongeBob fan to really catch this mistake, alright? This one's just funny. So I want us to go back to season 1 of SpongeBob, any episode from season 1, and let's take a look at the inside of the Krusty Krab. And what we'll notice is that the floor is green, alright? It's always been green, ever since season 1, since the Steven Hillenburg era, the floor of the Krusty Krab is green. Now, I'm a total nerd for like even noticing this. Like, I got my Bubble Bass game going on right now for even catching this, okay? But in Squeaky Boots during this scene, we can see the Krusty Krab gets like ripped up from the ground, right? But Mr. Krabs is still standing on a piece of it, as you can see here, and the piece that he's standing on, the side that he's standing on, is not green, which is a mistake. It's just like a regular wood color. And hear me out, the bottom of the Krusty Krab, all right, could be the wood color, but the floor on the inside, which is what Mr. Krabs is standing on, is supposed to be green. So yeah, mistake here, and here's another one.
At least I'll have some peace and quiet at work.
That's it, Mr. Krabs. I'm taking my vacation now.
What's wrong, Mr. Squidward?
I'm gonna make this one quick. This is the next mistake from this episode, but when Squidward comes out of the Krusty Krab for his vacation, if we pause at the right frame, Squidward's iconic forehead wrinkles, which are always a part of his design, like they're always there, they just poof, they disappear for a split second, which might seem not like a mistake, but it is a mistake. Like, trust me, Squidward's forehead wrinkles are always supposed to be there. This was an animation error. And believe it or not, I still got more, guys. Let's head over to another episode. Let's go. Before I do though, guys, let me know in the comments other SpongeBob episodes you want me to cover, because I'll go and find mistakes in those episodes. So let me know, comment right now. But anyways, let's head into the next episode for more mistakes.
Oh, the pioneers used to ride these babies for miles.
We could drive. Rocks. Hold on.
First up, we have an episode that any old school SpongeBob fan loves, and that's Pizza Delivery. I love this episode. This episode's all about Mr. Krabs literally turning a Krabby Patty into pizza, and then SpongeBob and Squidward going on quite the epic adventure to get it delivered. What I'm here to deliver though, what Cartoon Corey is here to deliver though, is this mistake. There's 3 in this episode. Here's the first one.
Bumper. Sticker. Check. Back it up!
Give me the wheels, SpongeBob. Give me.
Okay, so the boat that SpongeBob and Squidward use to make the delivery at the beginning of the episode, as you can see right here, it has this nice little bumper sticker, okay? Remember this. It's white and green, and it says, I brake for sea urchins, all right? Very cute, SpongeBob. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is at first it's on the boat, as I just showed you guys, but as the scene progresses and SpongeBob and Squidward start driving, we get this back shot of the boat, and where is it? Where'd it go? Where'd the bumper sticker go? At first it was there, so it should be there during this scene. You can tell that the animators drew it here at first for like comedic effect, but then we're feeling a little lazy and didn't draw it during these shots here. And guys, here's another mistake from this episode, and this one's even worse.
Look, I told you, little friend, I ain't paying for that.
Well, this one's on the work.
So for this one, I need to give you guys some context. Now, longtime viewers of the channel already know what's coming, but canonically, the Chum Bucket and Krusty Krab have always been shown to be across the street from each other. As you can see in this shot right here, they're directly across from one another. And there's even like a path between the road to both restaurants. Well, at the end of this episode, we get a bit of a swerve, as it's eventually revealed that the customer's house that SpongeBob and Squidward are delivering to turns out to be exactly across the street from the Krusty Krusty Krab. It's kind of funny. But this is actually like a total mistake because no, the chum bucket should be directly across the street from the Krusty Krab, as you can see in this clip right here. This is even a different clip to show you. In multiple episodes, it's always been shown that these two restaurants are directly across from one another. So I really don't know how this customer's house is just randomly across the street now. It makes for a funny joke in a cartoon, but in terms of like continuity, it's a mistake. And guys, believe it or not, there's another mistake in this episode. To be fair, it's a season 1 episode, so, but yeah, roll the footage.
Oh, nope. I was wrong.
Wait a second.
So this one's more funny, and to be honest, I'm nitpicking, alright? You could tell I'm a hungry boy because I was paying attention to this. It's not that big of a deal, but if you pay attention throughout the episode, there is more, sometimes less, pepperoni on the pizza in different shots. Sometimes it looks like this and has this many pepperonis. Sometimes in this shot it looks like this and has less pepperonis. And sometimes it looks like this and has more. So very funny. And let's head over to another episode, guys, with even more mistakes, crazier than the ones we just talked about. Let's do it.
Who's gonna stop those youngsters from loitering?
Their mommies?
No, we are. Let's take them to the slammer.
Our next episode is a season 6 episode. I'm not the biggest fan of this episode. I don't hate it though, but the episode is shuffleboarding. Now there's only one mistake worth covering in this episode, so like, let's just get right into it. Here's the mistake, take a peek.
Well, our work is done here.
This is another one that's funny, but boy oh boy is it like a blatant mistake. So, when the people fall from the sky in this scene, if we slow things down and pay attention to this fish right here with red pants, this guy, we need to watch closely, but after landing on the ground, this dude just disappears. Like literally, I'm gonna show the clip again with audio in slow motion and just watch that guy, because he goes poof. Yeah, totally a mistake, and it's kind of funny. I don't know how the animators drew this guy, animated him falling, but then just removed him once he landed on the ground. Definitely a mistake, but let's keep it moving, guys. Let's head over to a more modern season of SpongeBob and talk about a more modern episode with mistakes.
SpongeBob, are you okay?
At your nails. They're so beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, baby, we're in season 12 now, a more modern and recent season of SpongeBob, so things are kind of different. The show is widescreen now, and to be real, there's less mistakes because everything's like digital now. Don't worry though, Cartoon Corey still found 3. Here's the first one. The episode SpongeBob's Bad Habit, by the way, I didn't mention that, but yeah, here's the mistake. Take a look at this.
Good. Ethel, you know I like to keep my nails long.
So take a look at this shot of Mrs. Puff from another episode, and I want you to pay attention to her eyelashes, alright? They're always there, everybody has eyelashes, even fish in Bikini Bottom, supposedly. But during this scene in SpongeBob's Bad Habit, when Mrs. Puff removes the towel from her eyes, if we pause at the right frame, boom, right here, our girl's eyelashes are missing. They then pop right back in the next shot, as you can see in slow motion here, but for this one frame, as you can see again, they're missing, and that's a mistake, guys. And here's another one from the same episode. This episode has 3.
Tell me he ain't doing what I think he's doing.
Oh, he's good.
This next one is an audio error. We're always focusing on like animation errors, which are very funny, but this one has to do with audio. Here, I'm gonna play the clip again, but I'm gonna cut it down and make it shorter and make sure it's only when the audio mistake occurs. Let's see if you guys can catch it.
Tell me he ain't doing what I think he's doing.
Did you guys spot it? Well, don't worry, that's what Cartoon Corey is here for. So, when Sandy says, uh-oh, tell me he ain't doing what I think he's doing, we can hear the audio, but her mouth doesn't actually open or move when she specifically says, uh-oh. You just hear the audio line, but her mouth doesn't move, which is incredibly awkward. Not as awkward as this next mistake, though, from the same episode. Take a look at this one.
Doctor, I can't stop. I can't stop.
Watch. The watch, Mr.
Watch the
Squarepants.
watch.
This one was similar to the first. So, when SpongeBob tells Hans that he cannot stop biting his nails, ew, by the way, kids, don't ever bite your nails, it's a terrible habit, hence this episode. As you can see, SpongeBob's eyelashes are missing, and just for reference, here's a shot of SpongeBob with his eyelashes, and now we're gonna go back to that shot in SpongeBob's Bad Habit. And yeah, when he's talking about biting his nails, his eyelashes are missing here. If we keep paying attention though, his eyelashes are also missing throughout his entire hypnotherapy session. But don't worry, they return to normal once he wakes up. Not that big of a deal, like eyelashes missing are kind of like light in terms of mistakes, so don't worry, the next couple of mistakes we'll cover today are gonna be worse. Let's head over to this next episode. Let's take a look at this. Man, this season 8 episode is a mouthful. I'm talking about the Krabby Patty that ate Bikini Bottom. Like, what a cool episode. This episode is so good. It has lots of really cool animation. You know, season 8 is very hit or miss. I say this about a lot of the seasons, but this is a good episode in terms of season 8. And as a matter of fact, before we get into the mistake, here are some awesome scenes from this episode. There's a lot of really cool animated scenes. We'll get right into the mistakes after though, so stay tuned.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, great Patty! Take me home, Daddy!
Lots of really cool scenes in this episode, as I said, but there's also a mistake. Let's take a look at this mistake right here.
Squidward, that giant Krabby Patty is on a rampage!
Hold it!
Yeah, so well in the kitchen closer to the ending of the episode, this Krabby Patty right here eats SpongeBob's left shoe and sock, alright? You can see it right here. We can even see SpongeBob's bare foot for a second. Don't get any weird ideas, guys. Yeah, so he has no left shoe or sock now and his foot is bare, but here's the problem. When SpongeBob and Squidward try to exit the restaurant, they reappear now for no apparent reason and remain like this from the rest of the episode, like he just randomly has his left shoe and sock back. Now, who knows? You know, SpongeBob works here. Maybe he has an extra pair of socks and shoes at work. You know, that would justify this. Or maybe it's just a children's cartoon and I'm overthinking this one small little continuity error. That's probably what it is. So let's head over to another episode with a much more blatant mistake that we cannot ignore.
Terrified, mind blank, possibly wedding pants. Wait, I don't wear pants. Ooh, lucky me.
Coming up next is the season 13 episode Chums. Crazy that there's 13 seasons of SpongeBob. Anyways though, let's make this one quick. Here's the mistake. Roll the footage.
F is for friends who do stop together. U is for you and me.
This one just makes me chuckle. It's pretty funny. But while SpongeBob is spraying the Krusty Krab in the beginning of this episode, he's singing the fun song, by the way, which is a nice little reference. As he's spraying though, his right eye turns yellow for one frame. Boom, as you can see here. And SpongeBob, I don't think that's very healthy, buddy. You got a case of like yellow pink eye over here. That's not good. Or the animators just made a little animation mistake, which happens sometimes. You know, it happens. And guys, let's head over to another episode with more mistakes. Dude, the amount of mistakes in SpongeBob is endless. Real quick though, guys, just a reminder, make sure to subscribe as I respond to the comments of all subscribers. So if you click subscribe right now, that red button right now, click it and leave a comment. Cartoon Corey will respond to you, so do it. But yeah, let's head over to that next episode.
Hello, little critter. What's your name?
Don't stand too close to a squirrel, Billy. You'll catch it stupid.
Okay, Ma.
This next one is going to be a ton of fun, especially for all of the old people watching this, as we're gonna go back to Squirrel Jokes, a season 2 episode, and boy, oh boy, is this one a banger. Like seriously, this episode's so good. I hate to break it to you guys, I'm gonna have to ruin some childhoods as this one has a mistake. It actually has 3, so let's dive right in. Here's the first one.
Hey, look, guys! It's the stupid squirrel!
Let's try and communicate with it.
We're gonna start light, okay? This first one is bad in Squirrel Jokes, but the other two in this one are really, really bad. Like, animators got fired because of this episode. Anyways, though, the first one, when Sandy's in the grocery store and 3 fish start making fun of her, these guys are bullies. Let's take a look at Lloyd over here and watch him in slow motion, as his lips flicker orange for one frame. Normally, his lips look like this. This is the color of his lips. I'm showing an image of him from the SpongeBob wiki, but in this one frame, their lips are like orange, which is incorrect. Your lips don't just randomly change color, guys. Here's a before and after, totally a mistake. Like I said though, we're starting light. Let's head over to the next mistake in Squirrel Jokes, which is really, really bad.
Crabs, they're so cheap, they can't even pay attention.
It's true!
Yeah, so when SpongeBob talks about Mr. Krabs in his stand-up during the talent show, if we head over to Mr. Krabs and we freeze at the right frame, our favorite crab over here has no legs. Like, the animators actually drew Mr. Krabs in this shot, in this scene, with no legs. To be fair, this is a season 2 episode, so it's like over 20 years old, but damn, like, no legs is a really bad mess up, guys. Like, I told you this one was bad, I wasn't lying. And there's another one that's also pretty rough in squirrel jokes. Take a look at this mistake.
I throw pies at you.
But seriously, folks, I want to give a special thanks to my friend Sandy.
Did you guys catch it? Well, when the spotlight is put on Sandy after SpongeBob says, I want to give a special thanks to my friend Sandy, let's take a look at Incidental 11 over here as his fin, well, part of his fin is missing. Normally, Incidental 11 looks like this. Here's an image of him from the SpongeBob wiki, and as you can see, this is how his fin looks, alright? It's how it looks. But in this one scene from Squirrel Jokes, like a piece or part of his fin is missing right here. I'm zooming in, and it's not that big of a deal, but if you're a big SpongeBob fan, it is totally like a mistake.
Only 2 volunteer employees could do for no extra pay.
Next up, we have the episode Greasy Buffoons, and this episode is all about Mr. Krabs and Plankton competing with each other like they always do. They're like the biggest rivals ever. Like, let's be real, like Mr. Krabs is like Goku and Plankton's Vegeta. I want to see them fight, you know, that'd be like really cool. They should get in the ring and box. Anyways, I'm gonna be quiet, and here's the first mistake.
Now from now on, I want you to fry up 2 patties for every Krabby Patty we sell. One for the patty itself, and the second just for the grease.
This one happens really fast. You guys just seen the clips, but when Mr. Krabs says from now on, if you look, it happens really fast, but his pupils just like disappear for a split second. Like, look at this dude without pupils. It looks like something out of a horror film, dude. We got cursed Mr. Krabs right here.
Order.
One double Krabby Patty, everything on.
All right, this one's weird and is kind of like a silly mistake. Like, it's weird that they even made the mistake, but when Squidward gives SpongeBob the order, the condiments right here on the shelf go in this order, okay? Mustard, mayonnaise, and then mustard again. They really like mustard in Bikini Bottom. Here's the issue though. When SpongeBob comes out of the kitchen, that mayonnaise bottle is now randomly replaced with ketchup. So instead of it being mustard, mayonnaise, and mustard, it's now mustard, ketchup, and mustard. And remember, this all happens in a matter of seconds, so this was 100% a mistake. At first they drew mayo, and then they just changed it to ketchup. Here's a random one for you guys though. Comment down below, what do you prefer, mayo or ketchup? Or both? You know what I prefer though? More SpongeBob mistakes. So let's head over to this next episode. This one's pretty rough, guys. I don't know how it made it onto TV.
Are you ready to go for it?
Like Mr. Krabs says, it's now or never.
When does he say that?
Usually on his way into the men's room. Bonsai!
Next up, I have another episode of SpongeBob that you guys have probably never seen before. It's called Trench Billies, and it's all about SpongeBob and Patrick being held as prisoners by like a backward gang. Yeah, season 7 has some weird episodes. It also has some mistakes though, and this episode has one that I really want to talk about. Roll the footage.
What's he doing? How long have we been watching it?
What time is it now?
2:30.
Okay, so you guys may have caught it, but several times when SpongeBob is looking at the jellyfish from his binoculars, okay, his mouth crosses over with his arm. This isn't supposed to happen, right? Like, his mouth should not be able to overlap with his arm. I want you to think about that for a second. It's not the biggest mistake in the world, but it is a mistake that shouldn't be happening at all, dude. Imagine looking at your arm and your mouth is on your arm. So weird, but let's keep it moving, guys. More mistakes coming up, and the ones I've talked about so far are nothing compared to what's coming up, so stay tuned.
Aren't they a little, elderly?
We may be a little wrinkly, but we're as tough as jerky!
This next episode is a season 13 episode. Actually, it's a season 14 episode. I'm always talking about SpongeBob mistakes, but that was a mistake right there. I meant to say season 14. It's the Goob Father. And this episode's wild. Pretty much like Mr. Krabs creates a new product that he sells at the Krusty Krab. It's like a burger shake. But the Goob Father does not like this, and he keeps on coming and like destroying the Krusty Krab and stuff. It's actually like a wild episode. And of course, a wild episode like this has a bunch of mistakes. It has 4. That's right, 4 in one episode. And I want to give credit to my little bro Jason for helping me find these mistakes. He actually helped me find all of these. He like came over and we hung out and we did it, so shout out to him. One day when I retire, he'll take over. Here's the first mistake. Keep those eyes peeled.
The brand new Patty Whip is now on the menu.
Okay, so mistake number 1. If we take a look at the Krusty Krab, guys, we look at any episode, we even go back to season 1, the OG era, and there's always the Galley Grub menu. This thing right here with all of the different items you can order from the Krusty Krab, along with the prices. This thing right here, okay? Well, in this shot right here of the Goop Father, it's just not there. They just didn't draw it, which of course is some cartoon logic, but I mean, it's always there. Even in scenes where like people aren't looking at the menu, it's still always there in the background, so I don't know why they just didn't draw it here. It's kind of lazy. There's also normally this sign right here, this green order here sign. If we look at any other episode, it's there, but in this episode and that same shot, it is also missing. So 2 mistakes in 1 right there, and here's another mistake from this episode. Here's a hint, a certain restaurant is missing.
Prepare to be annihilated!
If you've been watching for a while, you know this is probably the most common mistake in SpongeBob history, so I'll make it quick. Canonically, okay, the Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket are directly across from one another. Here's an example of this right here. Here's another clip showing that this is a fact. They're across from one another. Here's even one more example, okay? 3 examples right there showing you that the Chum Bucket and Krusty Krab are across from one another. So yeah, specifically in this shot right here from the Goop Father, when the Goop Father himself shows up, look, the Chum Bucket is missing from across the street. Don't worry, this next mistake is much better. Roll the footage.
The Goop Father would like to have a little talk with your boss. The Goop Father would like to have another little talk.
Okay, so at the beginning of this episode, when the Goop Father first arrives, okay, we can see that it is nighttime, all right? And then as the episode progresses a couple minutes later, he arrives again and we can see that it's daytime. I'm doing a side-by-side right here. And in one shot, it's daytime, and in the other shot, it's nighttime. Now, if we look at both of these shots, we'll see that there's a clock right here. And here's the problem. If this shot is in the night and this shot is in the day, why is this clock the exact same time? The clock should change, right? The clock would be one time at nighttime and then a different time if it's during the day. So this is a mistake. I guess you could argue maybe it's the exact same time the next day, but I think they were just too lazy to update the clock as the episode progressed because this is literally a kid's cartoon, but it's still a mistake. That clock should change, especially if the daytime and nighttime is like cycling still. So yeah, believe it or not though, that's not it. I still got one more mistake from this episode. Let's go take a look at this. Here's a hint. It has to do with SpongeBob's mouth, okay? Roll the footage.
Extra sprinkles.
Coming up, double K swirl and make it snow.
Did you guys catch it? Like I said, it has to do with his mouth, okay? As in the scene where SpongeBob makes an ice cream cone and gives it to someone, I want one, by the way. I want an ice cream cone. If we look closely though, one of his teeth turns yellow for a single frame. Very common mistake in SpongeBob, but it's still like a mistake. Like, dude, like, why is your teeth yellow? Go grab that toothbrush, my guy. Also, just saying, that's what happens if you eat too much ice cream, guys. You're gonna get yellow teeth, so don't do it. But all right, let's head over to another episode with more mistakes. I cannot believe there were 4 in that last one. Crazy, dude.
I waited so long, and you broke it.
As we've seen in many older episodes of SpongeBob, SpongeBob himself is not a very patient person. I mean, we go back to the episode Procrastination, where he had to write a whole essay and he just couldn't do it. He had no patience to get it done. And this is a similar theme in the episode Waiting, where SpongeBob wins a contest and has to wait for his toy to arrive in the mail, but it just takes a long time. Just like how you guys are waiting for me to shut up and talk about the mistakes. So let's do that. Here's the mistake in this episode.
SpongeBob SquarePants?
Could you come back later? He's having a moment.
Yeah, so right after SpongeBob is given the toy, okay, Patrick and SpongeBob dance. They do their little dance. They got some good dance moves. Now, during this scene, there is no mailbox, okay? We can see that, like, when we look around the whole area, there is no mailbox at all. But then, at the ending of their dance, this mailbox right here just randomly appears, when it literally was not there during their dance. This also happens during this scene where SpongeBob is given the toy by the mailman. The mailbox literally is not there, there, but then when the mailman comes, it just magically appears. It just spawns in. Kinda lazy, Nickelodeon. And that's not it. I got another one from Waiting, and this one's pretty spicy, all right? Here's a hint. It has to do with this box right here. Roll the footage.
What's this? This is a free prize!
Okay. So the mark that said free prize inside at first is orange, okay? When SpongeBob first sees it before he takes it, it's orange, as you can see here. However, when we get the close-up shot of SpongeBob reading it, it is now like a pinkish red color. Here's a side-by-side, and I have no idea how the color of a sticker just randomly changed. Like, what, dude? Talk about a weird mistake. And guys, we got more. We're back to our spongy boy, and the episode we're gonna be talking about is All That Glitters. Another episode that I'm sure some of you guys have not seen before. It's from that awkward period of SpongeBob where it just wasn't as popular as it used to be, but at least it's very popular again right now. Anyways though, like I said, the episode is All That Glitters, and here are some funny clips from this episode, and then we'll get right into the mistake.
I gave up everything for you!
Au revoir, peasants! Have fun laboring in your greasy spoon!
All right, you know what time it is. It's time to become detectives and put our, our mistake-finding glasses on. Cause it's mistake time, baby. Roll that footage.
Replacement spatula? How could anything ever replace? Hey, look at that!
Yeah, this one's very strange. So, when SpongeBob says, hey, look at that, if you look very closely, his red tie just completely goes missing. It's so weird seeing his pants like this. Normally they look like this, obviously, as you know. So there just being no tie looks so strange. Like, get my boy his tie back.
Proper drying of the hands is every bit as important as the Guess we closed early today.
Alrighty, we've got another episode. This one is Say Aw from season 13. And I'm just gonna straight up say it. This episode is kind of bad in my opinion. The pacing's just like really off. It's just very, very random. But what's really important here are all of the mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one. Okay, so this right here is Incidental 6, all right? And normally Incidental 6 has these like thin black feet, okay? They look like this. Don't ask me why I care about a fish's feet, okay?
All right, you brain-dead barnacles!
Aww, so cute.
Now, here's the problem. At the beginning of this episode, when we see Incidental 6, as Plankton is just locked and loaded, he's like dual wielding, look at him. More importantly though, look at Incidental 6, as they drew his feet with like regular feet instead of how they normally look. And now this wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? Like they can change his feet if they want to. The problem is as this episode progresses, his feet go back to normal. Look, his feet go back to the like regular thin black line feet. So it's just weird that at the beginning of the episode, his feet look like this. And then in literally the exact same episode, his feet just entirely change design. It's funny because this also happens with Incidental 3. I don't need to play clips for this, but if you look at Incidental 3 at first, this is how his feet look. They're like normal, but then in other scenes, his feet go back to normal. So it's like, it's just a weird bit of continuity. Very strange, and the strangeness gets even weirder, if that made any sense. Here's mistake number 2 from Say Aw. Alright, so speaking of the scene where Squidward gets eaten by QT, there's a mistake in this scene itself. So, when we first see Incidental 87, this grandma right here, she is wearing no glasses, okay? She has no glasses on. And it doesn't look like she's got pockets either to be storing them anywhere, okay? Here's the issue though, after QT, this thing right here, devours Squidward, Incidental 87 can now randomly be seen wearing her glasses right before running away. So I don't know where her glasses came from. Maybe she's storing them somewhere, but I do think this was a continuity error where at first they drew her without glasses, despite the fact that she always wears glasses in like every other episode. And then they remembered and gave her glasses as she runs away. I don't know, but this is a mistake, guys.
Listen, Patrick, there comes a time in every man's life when he's got to settle down. You know, get a wife, kids, a father-in-law you give all your money to.
SpongeBob Season 4 has a lot of weird episodes. There's good episodes, there's bad episodes, and then there's episodes like Rule of Dumb, which I'm kinda split on. What I'm not so split on though are the 3 mistakes in this one episode of SpongeBob. Here's the first mistake. Okay, so as you guys know, backgrounds are a big part of SpongeBob. Normally, when undersea, we get these types of backgrounds where we can see these like flower designs in the background. Now, I've said the word like 4 times already, but remember, they're supposed to be in the background. But in Rule of Dumb, when the kids are licking lollipops in the clips you guys just seen, the flowers in the sky background are like overlapping with part of the sand, which should not be happening. Like, look at how bad this looks. These flowers are supposed to be in the distant, in the background. They should not be overlaying with layers like the ground. So yeah, really funny mistake. And here's mistake number 2.
Act anything you want and it's all free.
All free! Nobody eats at me restaurant for free! King or no king!
So as all of you guys already probably know, the Krusty Krab has a sign, all right? It's this sign right here, and it's literally in every scene where we see the Krusty Krab normally. But in Rule of Dumb, the Krusty Krab sign is not seen in the episode at all, even in shots where it really should be there. Like in this shot right here, we should be able to see the sign right here. If we look at another shot from another episode, the sign's right here, so just, yeah, another mistake. Like I said though, 3 mistakes in 1 episode. We've got another one from Rule of Dumb, and this one's really bad.
Well, here's what I think of your trading!
My royal subjects have deserted me.
Okay, so this one definitely needs a little bit of context. So as you guys know, SpongeBob is made by Nickelodeon, right? But that doesn't mean that the actual animation, the 2D animation, is done by Nickelodeon. It was actually done back in the day by a company called Rough Draft Korea. So the episodes were written and produced in like America, but the actual animation was done in Korea. Now, during the scene you guys just saw during that bubble transition, if we slow things down and pause, we can actually see a blue screen in the background with the date May 26th, 2006 from Rough Draft Korea. And this is a major mistake. We shouldn't be able to see this. This is from the process of animating the episode. When the bubble transition happens, it's going from one scene to another scene, and this blue sheet is in the background pretty much of the scenes transitioning, and they slipped up. We shouldn't be able to see it. I'm over explaining it, so let's head over to another episode with a wild mistake. And really though, guys, stay tuned because I'm saving some of the craziest mistakes for last. Let's do this. Let's head over to another episode.
Patrick's my friend. Sometimes if he's eating worm food by mistake, he goes into worm mode.
Up next is a sneaky mistake in the episode Pat the Dog. Roll the footage.
Roll over. Patrick, wait!
So I already know that this one needs some explaining because it's just a very subtle and complicated error. But when SpongeBob says, "Patrick, wait," if you look closely, his right thumb and arm are only partially outlined, and they kind of look a little neon green. Forget about the neon green part though. What really matters here is, as you can see on one side of his arm, there's the outline. Had to clear my throat. Sorry guys, I'm dying. But yeah, if you look very closely, you can see half of his arm is outlined, and then the other half where his thumb and the inside of his arm are, they just weren't outlined. It's a very simple mistake. The animators, I don't know what they were doing, but this is a mistake, guys, and we've got more. Let's keep the video going. Sandy Cheeks has come up with a lot of revolutionary ideas for the Krusty Krab. For example, squirrel jellies, one, or even the episode where she comes up with a growth hormone that makes Krabby Patties bigger. But season 13's Hot Crust Nuts is definitely her biggest endeavor yet, with her making these nuts that do this. Here, take a look for yourself.
I have a reply.
Now this episode has 2 mistakes in total. Here's the first one. It's very easy to miss, and it has to do with the chum bucket.
Don't you love the new look? The restaurant!
So take a look at these clips before. You've seen them before because this is a common mistake in SpongeBob, but the Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket are supposed to be directly across from one another. It's been seen like this in so many episodes, guys. It's a fact. But in some of these scenes from Hot Crust Nuts, the Chum Bucket just isn't there. Even the path to the Chum Bucket is missing at times. It's just like the Chum Bucket just does not exist in this episode, which is totally a mistake. But guys, this next mistake is way worse. This one is really, really bad.
Oh, stop it! The restaurant! No!
So when all the incidentals start freaking out and eating the Krusty Krab, I want you to watch this in slow motion from the outside, because the animators were really lazy with all of these incidentals. For one, they have no pupils. They have like literal just blank white eyes. Same thing with their mouth, and multiple of them are duplicated. Like, look at how many times the one with a blue shirt and a cowboy hat is shown. The main thing here is just they were very lazily drawn for this one section, and I get it, it's a quick section where they just eat the Krusty Krab, but yeah, there should have been some more effort put into these incidentals. This isn't season 1, it's season 13.
It's my ex-boyfriend, Octavius Rex, aka Long, Dan, and Handsome.
Meep.
Up next, we have more old school SpongeBob goodness. We're talking about old school episodes today, a lot of them. There's still some modern episodes, but I'm trying to do a lot of old school SpongeBob. The episode is The Chaperone, and this one's all about SpongeBob being forced by Mr. Krabs to take his whiny daughter Pearl to prom. Just, it's funny, Pearl doesn't really want to go with SpongeBob. She has a crush on this dude right here, this anchovy, this pizza topping over here. This is a really good episode, but I hate to do it. We gotta break down the mistakes. Here's the first one. So this first one's kinda light, but the Krabby Patties that we see at the beginning of the episode initially contain meat patties. As you can see here, they look delicious, but all of these Krabby Patties have meat on them, and we can see the meat patty. But as the scene progresses and the table is suddenly cleared of customers refusing to go to prom with Pearl, now the sandwiches only have lettuce on them. So I'm doing a side-by-side, and I don't think all these customers ran away and took a meat patty. So this was definitely a little bit of a mistake here. At first, the Krabby Patties had meat on them, and then they forgot to draw the meat. I don't know. Really weird mistake, and here's mistake number 2 from this episode.
Hello?
Okay, I will admit I've covered this mistake before, so long-time viewers, I'm sorry, but it's this bad of a mistake that I need to mention it again for all of the new people. But in the scene where SpongeBob is coming to Mr. Krabs and Pearl's house, we can hear sounds of him struggling to walk, all right? We can hear it like he's walking towards the door and he's struggling to do so. That's what the sounds are supposed to suggest. But if you look closely, we can actually see his legs through the window, and they don't move the entire time. So we hear this sound as if they're moving, but we can see the legs right here and they don't move. I'm gonna play the clip again really quickly.
Hello?
Yeah, really funny. His legs do not move once, even though it sounds like they do. Okay, one more mistake from this episode. One more.
They love us! Hey! We're popular!
This one happens later on in the episode, but during the Doing the Sponge song, this friend of Pearl's right here is seen sitting on the floor with her arm in a cast. All right, remember this, her arm's in a cast. She's right here. But the problem is once the song ends, she literally picks up Pearl and SpongeBob and throws them out with both of her arms, which one would not really be possible because her one arm is clearly broken or something, but 2, the cast on her arm is missing. Like, she literally had this cast on moments before, as you can see here. I'm showing the shot again, but then she just magically gets healed, which, you know, is some cartoon logic. All right, guys, I'm realistic here. This is a kid's cartoon, and this is typical cartoon logic, but it's still kind of a weird choice and still technically a mistake. And we've got plenty more mistakes coming up in more episodes. Let's keep it rolling, rolling, rolling.
Shredded. Go.
Next up is the episode Le Big Switch. And I'm gonna make this one quick as there's only one mistake in here that's actually really bad. You need to pay close attention though, okay? So roll the footage.
Those aren't burglars, Pearl. Those are just friendly repo men.
Mr. Krabs, tell these guys to let go of me!
Did you guys catch that? So, when Squidward is being carried out of the Krusty Krab, we can see this fish right here on the right, all right? And what we really want to pay attention to is his eyes. Now, at first, they're closed, as you can see. But the mistake here is that when he blinks, they open in the opposite of what normal eyes do. Normal eyes open up and down, but like, look at this dude's eyes. I'm zooming in a little bit. I'm gonna focus in on him, and we're gonna slow the footage down and just, yeah, there is definitely some weird mistake here with how he blinks, because that's not right, man.
Get off him, Patrick!
What are you worried about? He looks better already.
But he still feels cold.
Next up, we have a bit of a spooky episode, Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost, which I guess isn't really that spooky. Him becoming a ghost is very funny though, and it makes for a really good episode. Like, imagine hating somebody so much that you pretend that you died so you don't have to deal with them anymore. Anyways though, here's the first mistake from this episode. It's a doozy. Don't ever let me say that word again. Don't ever let me say doozy again. And yeah, let's roll the clip.
SpongeBob, cut that out!
Oh, look, the mourners have arrived.
Oh, Squidward. We all came as soon as we were sure you were dead.
This is another one where we have to take a look at Sandy's design real quick, and we'll notice that the Sandy lady herself always has this zipper. It's a part of her suit, right? It zips up and down to get in her suit. Well, in the scene where Sandy's amongst the mourners, if you look, Sandy's zipper is just missing. They just didn't draw it. I can kind of get why due to the scene, but it's still super lazy that they didn't just draw her zipper. It's like a part of her design. I'll definitely forgive it though, because this next mistake from Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost is way worse. So yeah, let's roll that clip right now.
Napping on the job? You're supposed to be making music for me as punishment for this insolence.
So, in the scene where Squidward is scolding SpongeBob for napping on the job, which, to be fair, SpongeBob, you should not be napping at work, Squidward's normally turquoise neck randomly turns white for a couple of frames. This one is a lot more subtle, but I mean, come on, that's not how his neck is supposed to be. And you can actually still see a little bit of turquoise in there. It's most likely because he's wearing this white robe, but yeah, he's not that light. You can even see the color difference between his face and his neck, so a bit of a mistake here. I'll give him a pass. This one ain't that bad, but here's mistake number 3. This one's pretty rough. This one's hilarious. All right, so a big part of this episode is SpongeBob and Patrick kind of acting like servants for Squidward's ghost, and a big part of this is them carrying him around on this throne, all right, this throne right here. Now, I want us to take a look at this throne. You'll notice that it has kind of a headboard or a backboard to it, a part of the frame right here. I'm putting an arrow on it. Remember this part of the royal bed or throne or whatever this is. I guess it's more of a royal bed. It looks really comfy, but remember, as when the scene fades into nighttime after SpongeBob fails to play music on the tissue, that backboard of Squidward's royal bed has just magically disappeared. It's just gone, and it looks kind of weird now. How this mistake happened, I don't know. At first they drew the bed with a backboard, and then they decided to not have it there anymore. Regardless though, it's a mistake, and it's a very funny mistake. This is funny. Not as funny as some of the other mistakes coming up though, guys, so stay tuned. I'm saving the craziest mistakes for last. I'm gonna make this next one quick, as there's only one mistake in this episode, which is a good thing, I guess. The episode is SquidBob Tentacle Pants, and in this episode, SpongeBob and Squidward are morphed together. I'm gonna play the mistake, but look at this clip of them being morphed together real quick. It's really funny.
Hi, Sandy.
Yeah, I'm sure SpongeBob is the last person that Squidward would ever want to be morphed with. But anyways, let's get to the one mistake in this episode, as it's spicy. Did you guys catch it? Well, in the part where Incidental 41 is this character right here, by the way. When we see him hold his barf, disgusting, this incidental character over here, Sandals, his eyes are just not attached to his body. What is going on here? They look like they're about to fall off of him. This is totally a mistake. I don't know why they drew it like this. It is a crowd shot, to be fair, but yikes. This is nothing compared to what's coming up though, guys. Let's head over to another episode with some unbelievable mistakes. Let's keep it moving.
Pick a card, any card.
Our next episode is from Modern SpongeBob, season 12 to be exact, and it's One Trick Sponge. This episode's all right. It's pretty much about SpongeBob learning a new magic trick. Not the best episode in my opinion, so let's move right into the good stuff. Well, the not so good stuff, that being the mistakes. This episode has one. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Ah! Hi, Fred.
Now listen, this one is pretty complicated, so I need you guys to pay close attention, all right? So, when SpongeBob goes to Fred's house right here, Fred is the dude who's always like, my leg!
My leg? My leg! My leg!
My leg.
My leg! My
Yeah, that guy. When SpongeBob goes to his house, the direction he moves would mean that Fred's house is opposite from Mr. Krabs and Pearl's house, as you can see right here. Remember this, based on this shot, it would mean that Fred's house is like opposite to Mr. Krabs. You gotta remember this. However, in a later shot, Mr. Krabs' house is nowhere to be seen and is replaced with a kelp forest. So I don't know what happened here. The animators at first drew it as if Fred's house is right across from Mr. Krabs, but then they forgot and were lazy and then just drew a kelp forest instead. Not that big of a deal because it's a cartoon, but this is still a weird mistake. Some continuity errors, but let's keep it moving and head over to our next episode. This one is crazy, guys. Stay tuned.
Fiji concert. Remember this, Squidward?
Next up is the episode Friendiversary, which has a ton of mistakes in it. Let's see if you guys can catch them.
All here in my Squidward memory book.
What?
Here's us at camp. Here's when I moved in right next door.
So this first one is a good old-fashioned animation error where you can see it's a blatant mistake with the animation. I don't know what exactly happened here, but when SpongeBob shows his memory book to Squidward, Squidward's neck is to weaken because it's completely disconnected from his body. To be fair, it's only for a few seconds, but I mean, just like, I'm zooming in on this. Look at that, man. How did that even happen? Yeah, poor Squidward, man. His neck is not how it's supposed to be, but let's keep it moving. There's more mistakes in this episode. Here's mistake number 2. So this one is really bad, and honestly, it's one of the worst mistakes I've seen in season 13. So as you can see here, this is how the interior of Squidward's house looks, okay? He has like green wallpaper on his walls, and his floor is pink. We've seen it in so many episodes. Just take a look at this shot from Slimy Dancing. Well, I don't know what the animators were up to in this episode, because take a look at this shot from Friendiversary, as when SpongeBob's going into his house's interior is Squidward's house. It's funny because Squidward's door is open in this shot too, and you can literally see his interior, and it's like they just copied and pasted it to SpongeBob's. This is how SpongeBob's interior is supposed to look. You could even just see it from the Wikipedia page. But in this episode, they were feeling extremely lazy and just gave SpongeBob the wrong inside to his house. Like, I'm honestly flabbergasted about this one. I don't even use that word often, guys, flabbergasted, but your boy is flabbergasted. And believe it or not, that ain't even it. This episode has more mistakes. Here's the third one. Damn, 3 mistakes in one episode? You'd think the animators would know about the mistakes, but anyways, this one isn't as bad. But normally, as you can see in this shot, Patrick's house has a path, okay? A nice little path. But in Friendiversary, the path to Patrick's house appears and disappears multiple times throughout the episode. It's really weird. In this shot, it's here, and this shot, it's not there. So I don't know what was going on with this one, but the animators made a lot of mistakes, guys. Like, damn. But let's keep it moving and head over to another episode.
The Suds?
Here's that patty you wanted, Mr. Krabs, sir.
Next up, we have the episode Suds, which is all about SpongeBob getting a little too sick. Like, he gets really sick and still goes into work. I can relate with him. I've done that many times before. Overall, a really, really good episode that, of course, has a couple of mistakes. That's what we're going to be talking about. Here's the first mistake from Suds. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward to the ending of the episode for this mistake, but before SpongeBob's sneeze destroys the Krusty Krab, as you guys just saw, the 5 maritime flags normally on the front of the Krusty Krab are just missing randomly. Like, normally if we look at the Krusty Krab, there's these flags across it, right? They're always there, but in this one shot before SpongeBob destroys the Krusty Krab, they just did not draw the flags. I'm showing a side-by-side, really weird decision here. Fortunately though, after he sneezes, the flags mysteriously reappear among the wreckage of the destroyed restaurant, but I have no idea where they were before in this one shot. Really weird choice and definitely a mistake. And we've got more. Here's another one from Suds. This is another really weird one. So let's take a look at SpongeBob's house. All right, if we look at his house, you'll notice there's this path, and on the path, there's always these like green steps leading to the front entrance of his house. We can see this in the first ever episode here. And if we go to any other episode, here's a random shot from a modern episode of SpongeBob. The green steps are still there. However, though, in Suds, during a shot of SpongeBob's house at night in the clips you guys just saw before it becomes frozen in the next morning, those green steps on the path to the front entrance are just missing. They're just not there, which is a really weird mistake. Fortunately, when SpongeBob's house is frozen in the next morning, the green steps are back. But like, dude, what's going on here? How do you guys just not draw them? Really weird choice and just, yeah, a really strange mistake. We've got one more from this episode. It's kind of funny as it's very similar to the mistake we just covered. I'm gonna make this one quick, but normally, if we look at Squidward's house, all right, there's this wooden plank doorstep right here. I'm circling and arrowing it right at the door of his house, normally. But in the opening establishing shot of Suds, the wooden plank doorstep is just missing for some reason. It's kind of funny that that happened and the green steps on SpongeBob's path were also missing. Really weird mistake. The episode is going to be Hello Bikini Bottom, and I personally really love this episode. I'm a musician myself, and it's all about SpongeBob and Squidward like starting a band together that actually goes on to be really successful. So before we get into the mistakes of this episode, look at some of these awesome clips from this episode. It's a really good one, and don't worry, we'll cover the mistakes in a sec.
That doesn't look like Ned and the Needlefish. Chase him off stage!
See, it's a good episode. SpongeBob and Squidward make for a really good duo. The animators for this episode, though, I don't know, man, because there's some mistakes. Here's the first one. This one's a little inappropriate. I don't know how Nickelodeon let it slide in a kid show, but this is Incidental 46 right here. It is a female character. And as you guys seen in the clips, when Incidental 46 plays a loaf of bread like an accordion, they forgot to draw her bikini top. So she just does not have a top on at all. Real classy Nickelodeon. Definitely a mistake, but you could have picked any other incidental to have this mistake for, so yeah. We've got a pretty weird episode from season 7, A Pal for Gary, an episode where SpongeBob gets Gary a pal, but that pal ends up being a very evil monster. But what we're here for are mistakes. Here's the first one.
I can only imagine the tortured loneliness he must be feeling right now.
This one is very, very weird. Now, I don't think I need to explain this, but right here on his square pants, he has a black belt. Major part of his design, but, well, in A Pal for Gary, when SpongeBob is walking away from his house near the start of the episode, let's take a look at our boy's belt for a frame because it randomly turns white. Like, what? It's only for a split second, so obviously it's not that big of a deal. It goes back to black, but look at that, dude. I'm zooming in. It is white, and that is not correct, and neither is this next mistake. Take a look at this one.
You two get to know each other. I'll be right back. Eat up, you two.
Yeah, if you thought that one was bad, this one's worse. It's kind of funny as well, though. So, when SpongeBob carries a food bowl into the living room, let's take a look at the inside of his mouth for this one frame, as it appears to be yellow. When, of course, as you guys know, the inside of a mouth is usually gonna be like red or pink, and in SpongeBob's case, it's always red. So it being yellow here is just very, very strange. Very weird mistake here. And there's more. Here's the next one.
Sheriff, I nabbed your bank robber.
Man, 3 mistakes in 1 episode? That is wild. Well, this one needs some explaining. So, throughout most of the Western crime movie or TV show that Gary the Snail is watching, throughout the episode, we see this cowboy fish right here. And he's always in this like normal olive green design, all right? This is how he looks. Remember this, remember it. This is how he looks. But in the very last scene of this show that is shown, this just randomly changes. The animators forgot about that olive green design and just randomly color him purple with a blue fin, thus making for a strange continuity error, which is really funny because this is a mistake within a show of a show, because Gary's watching a TV show and there's a mistake in this show. So I just thought that was kind of funny, but let's head over to another episode of SpongeBob, guys, with some wild mistakes. Things are about to get wild. Okay, it's time for some classic episodes. Next up, we've got Squid's Day Off, which is a very underrated episode from season 2, in my opinion. I mean, people love this episode, but I don't feel like it's talked about enough. I hate to bring it up in such a negative circumstance, though, as we're about to expose some mistakes. Here's the first one.
I will ring the bell when there's an order, but there's no customers.
What's going on out here? My babies! Get away, barbarian! What have you done?
Did you guys catch that? Probably not, because it's a very weird mistake that needs some explain. So, during that scene you guys just saw, when Mr. Krabs grabs the dime from Squidward, if we look over here, we can see that there's this bag of grains that's between the pipe. It's right here, all right? You can see it right there. Now, the problem is that before this shot, we get a shot of that same pipe, and look, that bag of grains is missing. So first, when the episode begins, during a wide shot of the interior, when Squidward notes that there's no customers, we can see that pipe right here, this spot right here, and that bag of grains is not there. But then literally seconds later, when we get this shot where Mr. Krabs takes the dime from Squidward, that bag is now there. So how did it get there? I highly doubt Squidward or Mr. Krabs put it there in a matter of seconds in the middle of a conversation. So I think it's a continuity error. First they drew it without it, and then they drew it with it, making for a funny mistake. And I'm rambling, so here's another mistake from the same episode that's a lot more spicy. Like seriously, this one's really, really bad.
SpongeBob, stop ringing this bell.
I was just testing it.
I will ring the bell when there's an order.
Yeah, so I was not lying. This one is really, really bad. But when Squidward says, SpongeBob, stop ringing this bell, his legs, right, his legs, a massive part of his design, are not colored in for an entire frame. Like his legs were just not colored in at all, and it looks so strange. I told you it was a really bad mistake, all right? And there's gonna be a ton more in this video. Next episode is a SquarePants family vacation. I love this episode. I love episodes with SpongeBob's parents in them. And here's the first mistake.
Are you getting hungry?
Yeah.
Oh, I could hear your stomach growling. I thought for a second it might be some kind of scaly monster coming to eat us.
This one's pretty straightforward, but when SpongeBob and Patrick are walking through this like mushroom forest, and SpongeBob says, for a second, I thought it was some scary monster coming to eat us. This is really bad, but our boy loses his entire left arm for a frame. Like it's just not there. It's only for a frame. It does come back right away. But dude, look at this shot without his arm. And yeah, major mistake here, guys. Let's keep it moving though and head over to another SpongeBob episode with some wacky mistakes. Let's head back over to the classics. We've got Something Smells, a very special episode, such a nostalgic episode. It hits me in the childhood, but let's ruin that childhood by exposing that first mistake.
Wow, it's Sunday, Gary. Guess what's for breakfast? That's right. A sundae!
As you just seen, after SpongeBob goes from his bedroom to his kitchen to make the sundae, when he opens the door, we can see his bedroom wallpaper, all right? Instead of his living room, which is totally a mistake because SpongeBob's bedroom is not located next to his kitchen. It's located upstairs, as we've seen in numerous episodes before. Here's a shot of it right here. So yeah, very weird mistake. I don't know why they put his bedroom wallpaper as he's coming into the kitchen. Totally a mistake And here's another one from this episode.
Looks like we're out of ice cream. Guess I'll have to use something else. Ketchup!
This one took me a couple times of watching it to really catch it, but when SpongeBob opens the giant ketchup bottle and squeezes it into his sundae bowl, disgusting by the way. Putting ketchup in a sundae, disgusting. If we look at his hands though, his right hand is on backwards. Look at this, I'm zooming in. Yeah, that hand is on backwards and totally a mistake, a really bad one too. We ain't done yet though, gang. More mistakes to come and you do not want to miss them. Let's keep it rolling. For this one, we're gonna head over to season 8, a very weird season of SpongeBob that I feel like is not ever really talked about. A lot of the episodes weren't very memorable, but one I've always enjoyed was a friendly game where SpongeBob and Patrick play an insane game of golf. You know what? I think I'm gonna turn my entire apartment into like a golf course. Pretty cool idea, SpongeBob. But it's time to expose some mistakes. Here is that mistake I was talking about. It is rough.
Uh-oh. Okay, you're good to go.
So, SpongeBob breaks Squidward's house's eye windows in the gallery, all right? As you can see here, when the ball goes through and breaks the window on Squidward's iconic little like head house here, on the inside of the window, we can see that we're in his gallery, all right? The room where Squidward puts all of his paintings. You can see the paintings on the wall, but later on in the episode, Patrick does a very similar thing and does more destruction to the same windows, all right? That same window that led to the gallery. Only when Patrick does it, the windows are now not in the gallery like earlier, and they're now randomly in Squidward's bedroom. Very weird. To be honest, these windows normally lead to Squidward's bedroom, so it's also a mistake that they ever even showed the gallery at all. But more importantly, first when he broke the windows, it was the gallery, but then when they were broken again, it was Squidward's bedroom, making for a really weird mistake. Next up, we've got Reef Blower. Here's the first mistake. You caught this, I'm proud of you because you got to be paying close attention. So at the beginning of this episode, when we see the front yard of Squidward's house, we can see that there's a flower in a pot right here. Remember this. As eventually as the episode progresses, when we see Squidward in his yard eating later on, that same flower in a pot from the beginning of the episode has just disappeared and it's not seen again in the episode after that first scene. That even includes this scene towards the ending of the episode where we see Squidward sitting on his doorstep again. It's not there. So it was there at the beginning of the episode randomly and then just disappears for the rest of the episode. Could be a mistake, maybe Squidward got rid of it, but come on, totally a mistake. And here's another one. Speaking of that doorstep I just mentioned, right? Here's the thing. Before this episode, Squidward has never had a doorstep in front of his house. Here's a shot of his house from earlier episodes. There's no doorstep. And in every scene before this moment in Reef Blower, right? Before this one moment where he has the doorstep, there's no doorstep. So throughout the whole episode, he doesn't have a doorstep and then randomly, conveniently gets one so he can sit on it. I mean, that's typical cartoon logic, but kind of funny. Yeah, really funny. Not as funny as this next mistake though. This one's a bit of a nitpick on my end, but I had to mention it. So, Squidward's hammock in his backyard is seen around the 45-second mark of the episode, alright? It's right there, you can see it, remember. Well, in the next scene, where he is seen eating, the two corals that held the hammock and the hammock itself are just nowhere to be found. They just magically disappeared. Maybe Squidward put them away, but this all happens in a matter of seconds, so I think the animators drew it in this shot and then forgot to draw the hammock afterwards. Let's head over to another season 1 banger with even more mistakes, the episode Plankton. Here's that first mistake. Take a look at this. Did you guys see that? It's pretty rough. So at night when SpongeBob is walking home near the beginning of the episode, as you guys just saw, he moves his head to his left, to his right, and the Krusty Krab, which is supposed to be across from the chum bucket, is just missing. Now, this one might be a little weird at first, but take a look at this random clip from another episode, and what you'll notice here is canonically, the Krusty Krab and chum bucket are directly across from one another, and there's this path. So in that scene when SpongeBob was walking home and looking left to right, the Krusty Krab should have been visible right across from the chum bucket. It's funny because SpongeBob also passes by the chum bucket as he walks. The chum bucket should be right across from the Krusty Krab, like literally across from one another. So funny mistake. And of course, guys, here's another.
Now it's time for a little wakey uppy.
This one's interesting. A big part of this episode is that Plankton goes inside SpongeBob and controls his body and uses this controller right here. Now, the words total control can be seen on the controller, especially at first. The words just disappear and reappear multiple times. So very messy. The words total control should have been on the controller the entire time, but I guess they just removed it at times to, make it easier to animate. I don't blame them. 2D animation is hard. And here's the next mistake from Plankton.
This isn't what I had in mind. Let me just grab my pants. Guess I'm not wearing any pants today.
Did you guys catch it? You seen it in the clip. SpongeBob is being controlled by Plankton and starts to walk towards his pants in the middle of the night. And if we look at his tie just randomly turns black when seconds prior it was red. Like, look at it in slow motion. I'm showing it right here. It just randomly turns black. What? Now, right after this, it goes back to normal. It turns back to red. A very strange mistake. Not as strange as this next one, though.
SpongeBob, are you mad?
Shut your mouth, you mediocre clarinet player.
Mediocre?
Okay, so I'm a total nerd for catching this one. But at that point where SpongeBob walks into Squidward's bedroom, you may have noticed that for some reason, it's on the first floor of Squidward's house. When in literally every other episode, here's an example of this, Squidward's bedroom is on the second floor. We can tell because of the wallpaper especially. But yeah, I don't know why Squidward's bedroom is just suddenly on the first floor of his house now. Really big mistake here. This is not a thing and just, yeah, really cracks me up. This next one's also pretty funny though. Take a look at this.
No.
Okay, so we just jumped ahead a little bit. We're closer to the ending of the episode. There isn't a ton of mistakes in this episode, but when being forced into the chum bucket lab and screaming, like we can hear SpongeBob screaming, we can hear noise that should be coming from SpongeBob's mouth and his mouth should be moving. If we look at SpongeBob during this scene and we even slow it down a little bit, we'll notice that SpongeBob's mouth does not move at all. Now, this isn't that big of a deal. This is typical for old 2D animation. His mouth doesn't need to be moving all the time, but now that I'm pointing it out, his mouth should be moving and it's kind of weird. Technically a mistake still, just I'll give them an excuse since this is an old episode. But yeah, one more from Plankton. Roll the footage.
No.
In the clips you just saw, when SpongeBob jumps in the chum bucket, if we slow it down and pause at the right frame, look, the first half of his head just disappears for a whole split second. Like, look at how weird that looks. He's just missing a piece of him. Now, this scene happens so quickly that like you wouldn't catch this if you were watching the episode, but I got you. The episode Jellyfishing from season 1 also has a lot of strange mistakes, and let's dive into the first one. Roll that footage, take a look at this. As you guys have noticed, this type of mistake is going to be pretty common throughout season 1, and I think it's because SpongeBob's house wasn't just fully, decided on yet, how many windows it would have, etc. But after the scene switches from a shot of Conch Street to solely a shot of SpongeBob's house at the beginning of the episode, look at SpongeBob's house as it's missing a window. And for reference, here's a random shot of SpongeBob's house from another episode. You can see it as this many windows here, and in this one shot, it's missing this window right here. Not that big of a deal, and here's another mistake from jellyfishing.
But I can't. Bye-bye.
Next time?
Oh, sure, right. Whatever. Like that'll never happen.
It is crazy how many mistakes there are in season 1. I'm sure you guys caught that last one. So when Squidward leaves SpongeBob and Patrick on his bicycle, where is SpongeBob's house? I mean, like, look at this angle. It should be right there, but it's just missing. Very strange mistake. And let's keep it moving. Here's the next one.
The early morning in Bikini Bottom, when the jellyfish are buzzing about making their jellyfish jelly.
This one's very strange, and it took me a couple of seconds to fully understand the problem here. So, at the beginning of the episode, the sky is blue, as you can see right here. Remember this, as when SpongeBob and Patrick come out of the pineapple, literally like a second later, the sky is now orange. It looks like, it's like 7 or 8 p.m. You know what I mean? It isn't nighttime yet, but it's getting close to nighttime. Before it was blue, like it was nighttime, now it's orange, like it's the midday. And then, when they eventually chase the jellyfish, seconds later again, the sky is now randomly blue again, as if it's nighttime. So weird, dude. Like, the time of day wouldn't change like that. I understand if it went from like blue to orange and then stayed orange, but you could see that the animators forgot that they originally made it blue, then they made it orange, and then they made it blue again. Strange. Very strange. Here's another one though.
Firmly grasp it!
As you guys seen earlier on in the episode, Squidward gets this net literally like injected into his hand. He's wearing a cast, so Patrick forces it and like rips through the cast into his hand. So it's like stuck in his cast. But if you watch throughout the episode, the net switches between his hands. First it's in his right hand, as you can see here, then it's in his left. In this scene, very, very weird. And here's another one.
Hey, Squidward!
When SpongeBob says, "Hey, Squidward," his mouth moves as if he's saying something completely else. Like, look at this in slow motion and you'll get what I mean.
Hey, Squidward!
Yeah, very strange audio error there.
What's the matter, boy?
I think Plankton wants to destroy our way of life!
Man alive! He's taking us down!
Next up, we have the episode Spongicus, which I would not be surprised if a lot of you have never seen it before. This episode is very underrated. Honestly, though, it's actually more overrated because the episode is just not very good. So honestly, I don't even feel bad for exposing mistakes in this one. Here's the first one.
Plankton's destroying the chum bucket? I guess he's finally given up on the restaurant business. Couldn't take the competition.
You guys catch it? This one takes place right at the beginning of the episode as Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob open the Krusty Krab doors. It's only for a few seconds, but the undershirt underneath like Mr. Krabs' blue shirt, he normally has like a white shirt underneath it. As a matter of fact, here's a PNG of him. I'm talking about this right here. Yeah, in Spongicus in this scene, look, it's gray randomly. It's only for a few seconds and then goes back to white, which is how I know it's a mistake. At first I was like, maybe Mr. Krabs was changing up the fashion a little bit, rocking a gray undershirt. But no, the animators just messed up. And they messed up more in this episode, as here's mistake number 2.
Yeah. Stupid inflation.
Alright, so for this one, let's take a look at the Krusty Krab, alright? Specifically the outside of the restaurant, as there are some design elements that are very consistent throughout the show. For example, the clam sign, this right here that says Krusty Krab. I mean, come on, it's been there ever since Help Wanted, the first ever episode. It's right here. There are also some scenes in this episode where we can see it. For example, this shot from Spongekiss right here. But here's the problem. At the very ending of the episode, when the lionfish roars, and it shows the Krusty Krab again, where is the clam sign? It's not there. It's just disappeared. Well, I'll tell you what actually happened. The animators in this one shot made a little mistake and forgot to draw it. Which, I mean, come on, none of us would notice this anyways, but it is still a mistake, so get wrecked, Nickelodeon. I caught you. And I'm gonna catch you more. Here's one more from Spongekiss. Yeah, so this one's kind of similar to the last one, except it takes place inside the Krusty Krab. Now, first things first, if we go back to any episode, in the Krusty Krab, in the cash register area, there is, of course, a cash register. This thing right here that Squidward is always operating. I mean, it's literally his job. Now, the problem is that in the clips you guys just saw from this episode, there's this random scene where the cash register is just missing. It should be on the counter right here while everybody is laughing around it, but the animators forgot to draw it. This might have been intentional to save time to make animating this scene easier, but considering that the cash register is literally always there, it just randomly missing from this shot is clearly a mistake. But hey, I'll forgive you, Nickelodeon. Mistakes happen sometimes. Some of the mistakes coming up though, guys, I don't know if I can forgive them for, because there are some awful mistakes in SpongeBob. So let's get to them. Let's head over to our next episode. Let's do it.
Sad and alone, I am desperate for something to do and someone to play with.
Next up, we have Season 6's Choir Boys, and this episode is actually really fun, where SpongeBob wants to join Squidward in singing at his choir. SpongeBob ain't too bad, too. He's got some pipes on him. My boy can sing. Now, this episode has sneaky mistakes, and they're all pretty rough. Here's the first one, and try to comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down. I know you can do it. Like I said, they're pretty rough. I wasn't lying, guys, as when Squidward rips off SpongeBob's fake mustache, yeah, this dude is missing his right arm. You could argue it's due to the angle, but I mean, come on, they just did not draw that arm, and I think it's kind of important, right? Like, you need both of your arms. 2D animation's hard, so I understand them being lazy sometimes, but still totally a mistake. And dude, there's more. I've got plenty more. Here's mistake number 2 from Choir Boys. Alright, this one's kind of complicated, so listen closely, alright? So during SpongeBob's grand, performance towards the ending of the episode, at first we can see this grandma right here at the piano chair, okay? She plays piano during the song, but towards the ending of it, we'll notice that she actually randomly disappears from the piano for a while. She was there, then disappears, and then seconds later, suddenly reappears. So you can see she was always supposed to be there playing the piano, but then the animators for a couple of scenes forgot to actually draw her at the piano, and then eventually remembered, and she just reappears again back at the piano. So a very funny continuity error right here. I don't know, maybe she went to get a snack in the middle of the performance. I guess that's a theory right here, a SpongeBob theory. But we're not here for theories, we're here for mistakes.
Until the bell is rung. Thank you! Although a smidge less rigorous next time, please.
We're gonna do summer jobs. The thing is, this episode isn't really about the summer. It's about Mrs. Puff nearly destroying the Krusty Krab and her needing to work at the Krusty Krab with SpongeBob so that she can slowly pay off her debt to Mr. Krabs. As you can imagine, SpongeBob and Mrs. Puff are not the best, fry cook duo. They do not get along very well, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for mistakes. Rule the first one.
I don't care anymore. This isn't worth it.
Okay, so for this first one to really make sense, we need to take a look at Mrs. Puff, okay? More specifically, her colors and her design. Now, when it comes to Mrs. Puff, okay, the front of her body is this like pale white color, the part with her face and everything, all right? Where her stomach and face is, the entire front area of her body is white. But then if we see Mrs. Puff from the back part of her body, like her back, is like a darker brown, all right? So the front of her body is white, the back of her body is darker brown. Now, the reason I'm yapping on about this is it's a big part of this mistake, as when Mrs. Puff is bouncing and right before she smashes the Krusty Krab doors, her colors are completely flipped. I'm doing a side-by-side here, and you'll notice that her pale front skin is on her back, the white part is on her back right here, and her brown, like, back skin is on the front of her. And this is like a really bad mistake. They got her colors completely mixed up. This is why I'm doing the side-by-side so you can really see. So yeah, a really bad mistake here. You guys already know though, this ain't it. We've got more from Summer Jobs, so roll mistake number 2, please.
Have a good summer vacation, class. I'll see you all next fall.
Now, this one is pretty hard to make out due to this episode being so old, but right at the beginning of the episode, very early on, all right, when the students are cheering at SpongeBob, if we pause at the right frame, we can see that SpongeBob's tongue, which is supposed to be like pink or red, is randomly yellow. Like I said, this one's kind of hard to make out, so let's do a little bit of upscaling magic here. Like, look, I'm doing my magic, and boom, we've upscaled the image. And yeah, we can make it out a lot better now if we zoom in a little bit. SpongeBob's tongue is yellow, and that's incorrect. Incorrect, just like this next mistake from Summer Jobs. Let's keep it rolling with mistake number 3.
But Swift, well, I wouldn't go that way if I were you.
All right, I'm a nerd for catching this one, and I guess it kind of reveals that all I ever really think about is food. But in the clips you guys just saw, when Mrs. Puff gets the Krabby Patty, we can see that the lettuce is on top, all right? It's right here, remember this. I know I'm asking you to overanalyze a piece of lettuce, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's important for the mistake. But yeah, it's on top. However, when it's delivered to the customer, the lettuce is just randomly now transformed to the bottom of the burger. So either Mrs. Puff was messing with the burger, she was fondling that burger and moving it around like a typical Uber Eats driver, or the animators put the lettuce on top, forgot, and then when it got to this scene, they incorrectly drew it with the lettuce on the bottom. That's probably what happened. See, now I'm just hungry though, but I still got more SpongeBob mistakes to cover, guys. So I'm gonna hold off on my hunger, especially because these mistakes are really bad and I don't want you to miss them. And then after this video, I'm getting a Krabby Patty, dude. Damn. All right, let's keep it rolling.
It's me!
Why is it all orange and blurry?
Where?
See? Right there, on the entire thing?
Oh!
Here's a question, guys. Who wants to go on like a vacation with SpongeBob's mom and dad? Like, let's go, guys. It'll be a blast. Well, that's exactly what happens in the episode, A SquarePants Family Vacation. The episode name kind of makes it pretty obvious, where SpongeBob and Patrick go on quite the adventure with SpongeBob's parents. Now, there's only one mistake I want to cover in this episode because it's really bad. Roll that footage.
No!
Oh, I could hear your stomach growling. I thought for a second it might be some kind of scaly monster coming to eat us.
Yeah, I may have covered this before, so if I have, don't worry, all the mistakes coming up are new. But when SpongeBob says, for a second, I thought it was some scary monster coming to eat us, his entire left arm, the whole thing, his left arm just completely disappears for a frame. And this isn't because of like an angle or something. This is a blatant glitch in animation. It's only for one frame and then it comes back. So you can't even get mad at the animators. Like, but still, dude is missing his whole arm. Crazy. And let's head over to another episode. I just wanted to throw this one in because it's so bad, guys, but even this doesn't touch some of the mistakes coming up. So don't go nowhere. Guys, you know, we're not going to be heading to Bikini Bottom. We're actually going to be heading over to Karate Island, along with our favorite butt kicker, Sandy, so we can go save SpongeBob. Well, that's not what we're going to do, but that's what happens in the episode Karate Island, which is a really good episode. It actually has a lot of cool fight scenes, so here's a compilation of all of the people Sandy has to take on to save SpongeBob. And then we'll get into those 2 really bad mistakes.
Ha ha ha! You cannot pass unless you defeat me!
Leap, serve!
The near of filthy Phil?
Dude, I would not mess with Sandy. Like, that girl is a fighter. I mean, she's literally wearing a Kill Bill outfit. Like, I'm doing a side-by-side. So yeah, do not mess with Sandy. What I am going to mess with, though, is the animation. Like, that was a 10 out of 10 segue. Come on. Anyways, here's mistake number 1 from Karate Island. Keep those eyes peeled. Alright, so when it comes to Sandy, whenever we've seen her feet, not that I be paying attention to, you know, like a anamorphic squirrel's feet, but if we pay attention to them throughout the entire series, Sandy always has 3 toes. 3 of them, okay? Look at this shot, 1, 2, 3. But when Sandy's fighting Master Udon and kicks him in the face, ouch. If we look at her feet, she's shown with 4 toes randomly, when again, she normally only has 3. So technically a mistake here, they gave her an extra toe for some reason. Anyways though, enough about Sandy's feet, alright? I'm not like that, guys. Let's instead talk about mistake number 2 from Karate Island. This one is really, 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 really bad.
And that should defeat me, the Tickler, and my Iron Finger style! Ha
Yeah, so I wasn't exaggerating when I said it was really bad, guys. So in this one scene right here, all right, when Sandy takes on the Tickler, when she first arrives and we see the Tickler, he is wearing brown pants, okay? But as the scene progresses, there's this one shot right here where dude has white pants randomly. We're literally in the middle of a battle here, so I highly doubt the Tickler like hopped in an Uber, went home, and changed into white pants, which is like the worst choice to fight in, by the way. Like white pants stain so easily, and then came back with a whole new pair of pants. The animators drew him with brown pants, forgot, and then gave him white pants, which is like a 10 out of 10 mistake, guys. That's like really bad. SpongeBob definitely takes his job way too seriously. We've seen this in many episodes before, but a prime example of this is Missing Identity, where he loses his name tag and instead of just getting a new one, he goes on a whole adventure. It's a good episode though, I can't complain. It does have some mistakes though. Here's the first one.
Squidward, what happened?
Huh? Oh, you fainted because you lost your name tag or something.
Huh?
Okay, so take a look at the Krusty Krab, the inside of it, the interior of it, and we'll look at Squidward's workstation and we'll notice that there's a cash register there. I mean, there should be, right? Because he's like the cashier. It's there in every other episode, but in Missing Identity, when Squidward is bragging about being a genius, that cash register is just missing. They just didn't draw it. Kinda lazy, but I'll let it slide. This is a cartoon, but it should be right there. Here's another mistake from this episode, and this one's really gonna blow your brain because it's a massive plot hole technically.
Hey, SpongeBob.
Not now, Patrick.
I know where your name tag is.
Where? I don't see my name tag up here. Now that my horrific incident of terror is over, how about some breakfast?
Did you guys catch it? So, spoiler, but at the ending of this episode, it's revealed that his name tag, SpongeBob's name tag, was on his back the entire time. Like, this dude went the whole episode just tweaking about his name tag, but it was literally attached to him the entire time. Like, I don't know if it's Patrick that's the dumb one. I love you though, SpongeBob. Anyways though, that's the big reveal at the ending of the episode. But here's the problem, right? There are multiple times where we see him from behind in this episode before the reveal. For example, when sliding into Gary here, we can see his back, or going inside the second time when he's retracing his steps, we can see his back right here, or when he's looking at the dumpster with Patrick, we can see his behind right here. Trust me, I'm showing you SpongeBob's behind for a reason, because that name tag is missing. Like I said, the whole reveal is that it was on his back the whole time, but it wasn't. We see his back multiple times throughout the episode, and there's no name tag. So a bit of a plot hole here, some cartoon logic for sure, but let's keep it moving and head over to some mistakes that are a lot worse than these ones. This was just the beginning. I'm gonna make this one quick. It's from the episode Wig Struck, where SpongeBob finds a wig and thinks he's cool. Like, I'm gonna get to the mistake really quickly, but look at this clip of SpongeBob thinking he's so cool with this wig.
Hey, Square Fashion. Nice couture.
Why, thank you.
So that, huh?
Nice do, SpongeBob.
To be fair, he does look kinda cool with hair, but yeah, here's that quick mistake I was talking about.
I got so much enjoyment out of the wig myself, I assumed everyone else did too.
It's time to be strong.
I know.
It takes place in the clips you guys just saw where Sandy convinces SpongeBob to throw away his awesome wig. Like, what, Sandy? Be a better friend. But if you watch closely, as they walk towards the cliff, Sandy's tail is just gone. And what makes it even funnier is that before this, she has her tail for the whole episode, as you can see in these shots. But from this point onward, her tail's just gone after this scene. It's missing here, and then it's just gone for the rest of the episode. Poor Sandy, she needs to get her tail back. But yeah, let's keep it moving and head over to even crazier mistakes, guys. I'm saving the worst mistakes for last. It's gonna get crazier as we go. This next one is one of my personal favorites. It's the episode Krabs a la Mode, where Plankton has this plan to like flood or freeze the Krusty Krab, which he does, but Mr. Krabs, being the businessman he is, instead of it ruining the Krusty Krab, he just turns the Krusty Krab into like an ice skating ring and makes even more money. It's actually hilarious. What's not so hilarious though are the mistakes in this episode, and there's a couple. Let's start with this one. Roll the footage. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Order up.
Did you guys catch it? This first one's very easy to miss, but when one of the Krabby Patties lands on Squidward in the clips you guys just saw, at first there is lettuce, all right? Some leafy green lettuce right here. However though, like seconds later in the next shot, we still see the Krabby Patties, but the lettuce is just magically gone. Maybe Squidward ate it, but what I actually think happened here is the animators drew the Krabby Patties with lettuce, and then in this next shot forgot to draw the lettuce again. Definitely a mistake. Here's mistake number 2 from the same episode.
Run, you fools! Run!
This one is funny and like really bad, but at one point when Plankton is driving the Clamboni, if we look closely and we zoom in right here, Incidental 103 and Incidental 157 do not have legs. Like there's no legs at all. And if we look over at Incidental 41, he does not have lower legs. They gave him some of his legs, but like, yeah, this one's like bad. This is a rough one in terms of mistakes here. 3 and 1, and how do you forget to draw characters' legs? Believe it or not though, there's more. Here's mistake number 3 from Krabs a la Mode.
How cold does Krabs keep this place anyway? 62 degrees! I'm gonna set it to a toasty 63. Huh? Do not touch thermostat ever.
This is another funny one. So at the beginning of the episode, Mr. Krabs turns the thermostat down to 62 because he wants it to be a little more chilly. But if you actually look at Mr. Krabs when he does it, he turns it the wrong way. He turns it to the right, which is to increase, not to the left, which would decrease the temperature. And this isn't some like weird bikini bottom water thermostat, because at other moments in the episode, we can see that right increases the temperature and left decreases the temperature. Yeah, that's a mistake, and we've got more that are even crazier than this one. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Who remembers this character right here? Fred. He's the dude who would always yell, "My leg." Yeah, that guy. He's iconic. Well, he got his very own episode in season 11, appropriately titled "My Leg." And dude gets his leg broken a ton of times in this episode. I personally love this episode. I feel bad for Fred. Anyways though, it's mistake time, baby. Here's the first one.
I'm in love with a nurse. Oh, you're in love with a nurse! Fred, I've got an idea. Why don't we hurt your leg so you can be reunited with your lady fair?
This first one is bad, dude. But during this scene where SpongeBob turns into a heart, take a look at one of these red hearts right here as it clips through Fred. I'm gonna loop the small section of it going through him, and I'm gonna zoom in and make it play in slow motion, dude. Literally, dude, it's like going through his body, which is totally an animation mistake. The layer of the heart is supposed to be either on top of him or behind him, but yeah, in this shot, it's clipping right through his body. Like I said, it's bad. And here's another mistake.
Just your leg? All right, Fred.
My leg! He's really stressing out, Dr. Charlie Horse.
Take off your shoes and follow me.
This one isn't as bad, but so going back over to Fred over here, throughout the series, Fred is never seen with shoes. He just never wears shoes. And even in this episode, he doesn't really wear shoes, but the animator slipped up, and in one scene only, is this healer scene right here. Look, he's randomly wearing shoes. He isn't wearing shoes after this, so just yeah. It might not sound like a mistake, but in terms of the character's design, it's a continuity mistake. Okay, you guys know the drill. Let's head over to another episode with some spicy mistakes. The season 6 episode, Ditchin'. I know what you guys are here for. You guys are here for spicy mistakes, so let's dive into the first one.
Can anyone tell me what the hand signal is for a left turn?
Ooh, I gotta go to the...
I'd say so. And hurry back. No dilly-dallying.
Thanks. Will do.
So here's the deal. We actually have 3 mistakes in one scene. It all takes place in the classroom at Mrs. Puff's boating school, and pretty much what happens is everything looks like this at first, as you can see, but then when SpongeBob is rushing to the door to leave, everything looks like this. Let's break it down a little bit more than that, as these mistakes are really bad. So for one, Incidental 41, this is how they normally look. Now, at first, Incidental 41, his body and pants are yellow and blue. You can see it, all right? Yellow and blue. And then in the next shot, it changes randomly to blue and brown, which looks incredibly awkward. Then we have Incidental 46 over here. At first, his bottom, all right, the bottom part of his character model is green, okay? You can see it, it's green right here. But then, in the next shot, it changes to red randomly, like what? Okay, and now finally, there's this fish right here sitting behind SpongeBob's desk. At first, it's Incidental 47, as you can see, all right? Incidental 47 is sitting right there behind SpongeBob's desk. But then, in that next shot, he changes to a completely different character. He's not Incidental 47 anymore, and now he's Incidental 42. Like, that's wild, dude. Of course, we ain't done yet though, guys. Cartoon Corey's got the good for you guys, because I got more mistakes and they're wild. Next up is a really gross episode, Fungus Among Us, which the title can already give you an idea of what's going on in this episode. Here's the first mistake. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
It was Squidward! He gave you all the ick! Let us apprehend that careless contaminator!
Did you guys catch it? Well, the mistake revolves around this incidental right here, this background character known as Fancy Fish. Now, normally with incidentals, they have like a skin color and then they wear clothes, but the clothing is never like the same color as their skin, right? Well, if we take a look at Fancy Fish as they're jumping onto SpongeBob, his skin is actually the same color as the sleeves of his shirt, which is totally a mistake. As like I said, right? Like the clothing is never the same color as the skin of these characters, or else it would make it look like the clothing is their skin. So by SpongeBob's rules, this is totally a mistake. And guys, here's an even worse mistake from the same episode.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob SquarePants returning for duty, sir.
This one's a quick one, but when SpongeBob says, SpongeBob SquarePants returning for duty, sir, take a look at this dork's sleeves as they're colored yellow instead of white, which is totally a mistake. And there's more, another mistake in this episode. Look at this.
I wanna go home!
You are home, SpongeBob. You just need to stay in this bubble until the ick clears up.
Where's my... snail, Gary?
We've taken care of your pet.
Gary? Whoa!
Last one from this episode, but after SpongeBob gets literally kidnapped from the Krusty Krab and is put into isolation, he says, "Where's my snail Gary?" And if we look at his clothing, look at his side belt, it's missing. Normally SpongeBob's belt goes like all around him, but in this one shot, the side part of his belt is gone. The animators just did not draw it. Hey, mistakes happen, and guys, we've got plenty more coming up, mistakes you don't want to miss. The episode is That's No Lady. In this episode, Patrick wants wants to be a girl. To be fair, he has a good reason. It's because he thinks he's gonna get kicked out of town, so it's more of like a disguise. But I gotta say, he makes for a pretty lady, guys. Like, don't tell my girlfriend. Anyways, here's the first one.
Who will go with me to the next Jelly Fisherman's Expo?
I'll have to be one of your other chums.
Yeah, so this takes place after SpongeBob shows the picture of the Jellyfish Expo to Patrick, and you can tell it's due to like the angle of like the shot. I can understand how this happened, but SpongeBob's legs are missing, as you can see here, especially his right leg, which is like blatantly missing. It should be starting right here. I'm circling it, but yeah, they made a massive goofier. He has no legs. Oops, mistakes happen. Here's mistake number 2.
Persistent bunch.
How about Sunday brunch?
No thanks again.
But I made reservations for 2.
I said no. No way. No. No. No.
It happens really quickly, but if we take a look at incidental 37A over here, their eyes are very like strangely misaligned with their body. Like, dude, it looks like their eyes are about to fall off of their head. Like, this is totally a mistake. This one's a bit more understandable because it's kind of just like a background element, but I caught ya, get wrecked, Nickelodeon. This is a mistake. And poor incidental 37A, I hope he doesn't lose his eyes. SpongeBob Season 6 has a lot of weird episodes, but one of the weirdest is definitely Slide Whistle Stooges, an episode all about SpongeBob and Patrick and eventually Squidward playing with these whistles. Like, it makes for some funny moments though, for sure. What we're here for though are the mistakes. Here's the first one. Okay, so this character right here is Sadie. She's incidental 47. And in this episode, she first appears as orange, all right? She has this orange color scheme, as you can see right here. Now, the problem is as the episode progresses, we see Sadie again, but her colors randomly change. As I said, at first she was orange, but then in later scenes, she's just randomly yellow. Remember, this is the same character. I know sometimes people think there's multiple of the different incidentals. When they duplicate them, it's a mistake. So in this case, it's especially bad because they didn't even duplicate her. They just drew her with a wrong color. Like, here's a side-by-side, and it's not a big deal, but still technically a mistake. And here's another one from the same episode.
Okay, that's enough. Not the windows again.
Okay, I'm a total nerd for even catching this one, but as you guys just saw, SpongeBob and Patrick go into these 2 self-portraits of Squidward. And what we really want to pay attention to are the eyes on the self-portraits before they go in. Both eyes are the same color, as you can see here. Remember this. As when SpongeBob and Patrick jump out of the paintings, the one that Patrick was in now has different eyes. I'm doing a side-by-side of both portraits, and as you can see, like before they both had these like tan eyes, slightly tan. They're not fully white, but now the one that Patrick comes out of, the eyes are fully white. So yeah, a bit of a mistake here, a kind of a weird one too. And believe it or not, here's another one from the same episode. 3 mistakes in one episode is crazy.
What is the meaning of this?
What is the meaning of this? We're slide whistling.
Don't you mean playing the slide whistle?
Squidward, slide whistling is more than just simply tooting on an instrument. It's a way of life.
This one happens closer to the beginning of the episode, and it's really funny, but when Squidward finds SpongeBob and Patrick under the mat, look, SpongeBob's socks are randomly missing. Like, I guess today SpongeBob could have just decided not to wear socks, but in the like 300 plus episodes of SpongeBob, he always wears socks, so I do think this was a mistake. Plus, look at how weird it looks, him wearing his shoes without socks. It looks so weird.
I can't work under these conditions.
Now you're in the driver's seat, Squiddy.
Okay, so as you guys just seen, the driver of the truck spills his coffee near an air vent right here, all right? Remember this. As later, Squidward eventually drives the exact same truck, but if we look, that vent that was in it before is not here now. I'm showing a side-by-side, and at first there was a vent inside the truck, as you can see here, but when Squidward gets in, I guess the animators forgot and did not draw the vent, so yeah, mistake. A very silly one, and you guys know what's good, let's keep it moving. I've got more mistakes coming up, things are gonna get spicy. This one's another underrated episode of SpongeBob. It's from season 5 and it's called Whatever Happened to SpongeBob. It's all about our spongy boy going missing after he runs away from Bikini Bottom. Like, our boy gets like amnesia. It's a deep episode, a deep plot. Like, the writers definitely went off with this one, but I don't know about the animators. This episode has like 3 mistakes. Here's the first one. First things first, let's take a look at SpongeBob's house. We'll even take a look at a shot of it from the first ever season, and you'll notice it always has this little chimney right here. Well, I guess the animators of this episode of season 5 forgot about this, as SpongeBob's house is missing its chimney in this scene right here, which normally I wouldn't notice, but after seeing it without a chimney is really weird. Like, I don't think it ruins the episode, but weird mistake. And here's another one from Whatever Happened to SpongeBob.
Hi, SpongeBob.
Hey, Patrick, how goes it?
Well, it was going great until you showed up.
This one's a classic. So SpongeBob's teeth seem to be yellow instead of white after he runs into Patrick. Pretty straightforward. This is a very common SpongeBob mistake. You guys already know what I'm gonna say. SpongeBob, go brush those teeth, boy. They shouldn't be yellow. That's disgusting.
I can explain.
Pre-hibernation week. This episode is a banger. Like, come on, such a good episode. You guys already know it's coming. Like, you guys already know it's good. This episode has mistakes, 3 to be exact. Here's the first one.
You over there?
I can explain.
Yeah, so this is pretty funny, and you can see that this is some sort of layering issue. So at one point, Sandy throws an entire building in the air. Like, dude, Sandy is jacked. Like, Sandy is definitely hitting the gym every single day. Anyways, though, so she yeets this entire building into the air, and if we look closely, this building in particular is very clearly, like, cut off. It isn't supposed to be cut off like this. It should be an entire PNG of the building, but you can see the animators or the art team made a little bit of a mistake here, with this thing getting cut off before it goes off screen. Obviously, when it's thrown off screen, it's gonna get cut off, but it happens prematurely here, so a mistake. And pre-hibernation week still has 2 more. Here's the second one.
SpongeBob!
What happened to sleeping?
Well, I'll be asleep all winter. We only got 3 days for fun.
This one is definitely gonna make you laugh a little bit. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but the calendar that Sandy pulls down when she and SpongeBob are frozen in the lake is like extremely incorrect. It only has 20 days and only has 5 days a week. Now, you could argue that in like Bikini Bottom world and the universe of SpongeBob, months are only 20 days long, but we've literally seen calendars in this show before, and they usually have like up to around 30 days on them. So this was definitely a mistake. Like, kids, just so you know, a month has 30 days usually. Maybe 31, not 20 days. So this was a weird mistake. And here's another one from pre-hibernation week. This one, though, is really bad.
I go to sleep for the whole winter.
Can I do that?
No, silly. It's a mammalian thing.
Sandy, you may not have noticed.
Okay, so at the beginning of this episode, we'll notice that Sandy is wearing like green bikini bottoms underneath her skirt, okay? I don't really care about what Sandy's wearing underneath her skirt because she's an animal and this is a kids channel, but if you pay close attention, when Sandy goes over to paint her fence, the green bottoms that she had been wearing during this entire scene under her skirt just magically disappear, and she now has nothing underneath her skirt. Don't get any ideas, guys. I'm gonna slide right past this one, but this is definitely a mistake. Her underwear wouldn't randomly disappear. And yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's head over to another episode, dude. Lots of wild mistakes coming up, guys, and I'm not just saying that.
Holy seek how it's that sponge kid.
Quick, lad! To the invisible boatmobile! Away!
What is better than an episode of SpongeBob based on Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy? Like, come on, they need to do more of these. There was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 1, 2, 3, and then 4, which we're gonna be covering right now, as well as 5 and 6. So Nickelodeon, you guys should do a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy part 7. I know the voice actor of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have passed away, but there's definitely a way that we can spiritually mention them in the episode. They don't have to literally appear. Anyways though, 3 mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy!
All right, this one is definitely weird, and you guys might not catch it right away, so let me explain. When SpongeBob bursts through the wall after overhearing Squidward saying Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, in the first shot, this wall looks like this. It's blue, okay? It's like entirely blue. And it shouldn't change, right? Well, after SpongeBob grabs the pen, and we see this wall in a second shot, it is now like a completely different color. Like, here's a side-by-side. It isn't entirely different, but you can see that the shading and coloring has changed a bit, which is like a major mistake because this all happens in a matter of like 10 seconds, literally. So the entire location of the Krusty Krab, like the walls wouldn't change. Like, what? This is definitely a mistake. And we've got more. Here's another one for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Part 4.
I told you we should have got the
So these right here are clips that hold up Mermaid Man's pants, all right? I personally would never depend on clips, I would just wear a belt. But what's really important here are the colors of these clips. At first, they look like this, all right? They're this color, remember this, okay? Remember. As the colors of these things just will randomly change between shots. For example, in this shot, they're now this color. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, that is not the same color, and dude's clips for his pants shouldn't be changing. You can tell that the animators first colored it like this and then forgot and gave it a different color, which is like, why, man? Like, totally a mistake. And here's one more. This one though is really, really bad, guys. Get ready. Roll the footage.
Ta-da! Since I couldn't make you big, I made the city small.
Yeah, you guys probably caught it. It is possible some of you missed it, but when everyone pops out of SpongeBob after they go inside his body and beat him up, our favorite squirrel, her head is just missing. Like, where's her head? It's just gone. Her head is not there. And this is like a really bad mistake. Like, how do you forget to draw somebody's entire head? Poor Sandy, man. Here's the thing though, guys, if you thought this was bad, stay tuned because crazy mistakes are coming up, dude. Like, it's gonna get wild.
I'll be one step closer to my driver's license.
Oh look, another really good episode of SpongeBob from the golden era. I'm talking about procrastination. This one is a good one, where SpongeBob has to finish his essay, but he just keeps on getting distracted and puts it off. How many times have you guys done that with your homework? Be real. I'm calling you out. I'm also calling out SpongeBob though, as we're gonna be exposing 2 mistakes from this episode. Here's the first one.
Hop, ho, hop, ho, hop, ho, hop, ho.
This one's pretty rough and it's easy to miss, but when SpongeBob's nose and eyelashes are exercising, like what? Something's missing, guys. Can you tell me what it is? It's missing. Yeah, SpongeBob's entire right arm is just gone. They like forgot to draw it. How do you forget to draw somebody's entire arm? Like what, dude? Don't worry, he does get his arm back after the scene, but yeah, as you can see here, that right arm is missing, and boy, oh boy, is that an error. I've got another one from this episode that's also pretty spicy, but pay close attention, okay, guys?
What not to do at a stoplight? Let's see, where are we?
Okay, so as you guys seen in the clips, throughout this episode, SpongeBob is not able to get much progress made on his essay. And the only things we actually see him write are what not to do at a spotlight by SpongeBob SquarePants. As you can see here, he wrote it right here. And remember, this is written before SpongeBob falls asleep. I know a large part of this episode is SpongeBob fantasizing things because he falls asleep, like his house literally catching on fire. That's all a dream. But when we see SpongeBob write this text right here, what not to do at a spotlight or stoplight by SpongeBob, he is not sleeping yet. He has not fallen asleep. So it should still be there by the ending of the episode, right? Well, it isn't. Eventually, when SpongeBob awakens from his nightmare and looks at the paper before looking at the clock, only the word "the" is shown on his essay. And this is incorrect. We should also see what not to do at a spotlight, because we literally seen SpongeBob write this earlier on in the episode, so a major mistake here. And of course, I've got more. Let's head over to another episode, guys. Things are about to get really spicy, so stay tuned. I'm saving the worst for last.
Al, your obsession with Kenny's getting weird.
But you didn't even get to see my new Kenny the Cat temporary tattoo.
Oh, that's okay. See you, SpongeBob.
Next up, we have the episode Kenny the Cat, which I'm gonna be real with you guys, I'm not a big fan of this episode, so I'm gonna get right into it. Here's a hint, it has to do with Kenny the Cat in particular, more specifically his legs, okay? Try and comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down. I know you guys can do it. Roll that footage.
This gets real uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna make this one very quick, but when Kenny gets his oxygen tank, okay, if we look very closely, his entire right foot is just not colored in and is transparent. As I say that, I'm kind of remembering that I might have covered this mistake before, so if I did, I apologize, and don't worry, all the upcoming mistakes are new. But yeah, when he gets the oxygen tank, his right foot is just completely transparent and is missing any color. And I'm sorry, whoever was in charge of animating this episode should get like suspended or something. Like, how do you forget to color in a foot? This is also from the modern era of SpongeBob, so there's no excuse. A lot of the episodes we've covered today are from like 2001, the year some of you guys were born. So it's understandable that there's animation mistakes, but Kenny the Cat, no. Anyways though, let's keep it rolling, guys. Lots of episodes coming up that you do not want to miss.
No, wait, he wants to take you on a date.
Let's be real, guys. Is there any relationship that's more iconic than Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff? I mean, yeah, there's plenty of other relationships that are way more iconic. I'd even say Karen and Plankton are more of an iconic couple. But anyways, the next episode we'll be talking about is Krusty Love. And this episode is all about Mr. Krabs getting a crush on Mrs. Puff and taking her on a date and all that jazz. It's a good episode, but of course it has mistakes. It has two. And here's the first one. A little hint though, pay close attention to Mr. Krabs. Something's gonna be missing.
What's that smell? Register! 49.
Like I said, pay close attention to our crabby boy over here, as when Mr. Krabs rushes over to the cash register, the animators forgot to draw his legs. Those are kind of important because to move, you need legs. So Mr. Krabs rushing over here isn't possible unless he has legs. Yeah, a weird mistake here. I don't know how they forgot to draw his legs, especially when he was animated to be moving. It's very strange, but it's definitely an error. A really bad one if you think about it, but we've got more. Here's another one from Krusty Love, and try to comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down. It has to do with Mr. Krabs' outfit, okay? Roll that footage.
Oh, I doubt that, my little shrimp boat.
Imported music? Oh, what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Krabs.
Okay, so while Mr. Krabs is on the date with Mrs. Puff, he drips himself out in this very fancy outfit, okay? He's looking very dapper. He's looking like a man that's gonna go out on a date. To any of the boys watching, if you ever get a chance to take a girl out on a date, you dress up nice, you know what I mean? You put the cologne on. Anyways, that's exactly what Mr. Krabs does in this episode. Now, here's the issue. While they're on the date, we can see he's wearing the fancy outfit right here. But for a couple of frames in this shot, look, he randomly, well at the restaurant, changes back to his regular outfit, which was totally a mistake on the animator's end. As he's in his fancy outfit, he should be in the fancy outfit the entire date. Imagine you wear a suit, take a girl out, and then halfway through the date, you go in the washroom and change to your regular clothes. What especially highlights that this is an error is after this, Mr. Krabs reappears in his fancy outfit. So first he's in the fancy outfit, then he changes to his regular outfit randomly for one shot, and then goes back to his fancy outfit. Like, crazy mistake here, dude. I have no idea how this stuff happens sometimes. Next up is Wormy. I love this episode. It's all about SpongeBob and Patrick finding a worm, becoming friends with him, and then this happens.
I think something bad happened to Wormy.
He left his best friend Ribbon behind.
Yeah, SpongeBob and Patrick, you guys are like, I cannot believe you guys are scared of a butterfly, but to be fair, they've never seen one before. Anyways, though, it's mistake time. Here's the first one.
I didn't know I'd be missed so much. Golly, maybe I should go out of town more often.
Did you guys catch it? It has to do with Fred, but Fred's eyes seem to become transparent while carrying Sandy and SpongeBob. This happens at the very ending of the episode, so it's very quick, but yeah, his eyes are just see-through. When I don't think I need to tell you guys that your eyes are not supposed to be see-through. This is a mistake. And here's another one from Wormy.
It ate them, and there it goes. First Wormy.
Okay, so after Mr. Krabs and Squidward run away from Wormy, we can see that there are two pairs of underwear laying on the floor. This is supposed to imply that Mr. Krabs and Squidward got so scared that they dropped their underwear. But here's the problem here. Mr. Krabs, yeah, it's possible that he wears underwear, right? But Squidward, let's take a look at a PNG of him. This dude doesn't wear pants at all. So this was definitely a gag. It's not that big of a deal, but I don't know where this underwear came from. It's not Squidward's. He doesn't wear underwear. So kind of a funny gag here, but it is technically incorrect. First up, we have the two faces of Squidward. And for those who do not know, this is the debut of handsome Squidward. Like, look at this handsome squiddy boy. Yeah, this episode is how Squidward gets handsome. It's a really good episode, but it has really bad mistakes. Here's the first one.
We don't have much time. Take the door and change me back.
And I'll even throw in a free soft drink for an extra $3.
Come on.
All right, this one's interesting. It happens really quickly, but during the clips you guys just saw at the Krusty Krab, there's this red fish right here in the background. And again, it's very easy to miss, but if you watch closely for a couple of frames, he has pupils, but he's missing his like full eyeballs. Like, look at how weird this looks. How do you draw a character's pupils, but forget to draw the actual eyeballs that the pupils would be inside of? Crazy, dude. And here's another one from this episode.
I love you no matter how many times we smash your face.
I almost wish that meant something.
All right, so listen closely because this one's kind of complicated, but near the ending of the episode at the Krusty Krab, when Squidward's face goes back to normal, he's no longer chiseled and handsome. He loses all of his Rizzler abilities, but yeah, his face is back to normal. Now, when this scene takes place, if we look inside the Krusty Krab in the background, we'll notice that there's very few characters in the restaurant. There's this guy here, there is not a lot of fish in there. However, though, when the camera cuts to the outside shot, there is now randomly a huge amount of characters. Like, this all happens in like a matter of seconds, so it's like, I don't know what's going on here. This was definitely an error. If there are this many characters in this shot, then there should also be this many characters in this shot that takes place like 2 to 3 seconds before it, so yeah. This is nothing though, guys. Some of the mistakes coming up are like really bad. People almost lost their jobs over some of these mistakes, so stay tuned. And let's head to another episode. Let's keep it rolling.
Quick, jump inside our anti-sea bear circle before he comes back.
Yeah, sea bears often attack more than once.
Are you crazy?
This next episode is very, very special. It's the camping episode. This episode was like huge when I was a kid. And if you don't know it, I'm gonna play a couple seconds from the campfire song, and I'm sure you'll remember the episode instantly. I'm gonna play like 4 seconds though, so we don't get hit with copyright claims.
CAMPFIRESONG song. CAMPFIRESONG elementary song?
I mean, come on, dude. What an iconic song and what an iconic episode. But of course, you guys know it's coming. It has mistakes. It has 2, and here's the first one. Try to comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down, okay? Let's do this.
It's nice to unwind with a nice, relaxing campfire song. I call this one the Campfire Song.
All right, so first things first, you guys may have caught this one, especially because I might have covered this mistake in the past, but don't worry, all of the other mistakes in today's video are new. You've never heard them before. But when SpongeBob starts to sing the campfire song, SpongeBob's right arm is somewhat like disconnected from his body for a frame. Like I'm zooming in and circling and like, yeah, his arm is like falling off. I'd like go and see a doctor about that one, SpongeBob. That's concerning. Or I would just have a conversation with the animators who did you dirty like this, bro. They couldn't even connect your arm to your body. Wild, man. And here's another one from the camping episode. This one is just like weird.
Weekend is here. And this isn't just any old weekend. This is the weekend SpongeBob and Patrick go camping.
All right, so listen up. When this calendar right here is shown for the first time, the circle is on the 23rd, okay? You can see it right here. This circle right here is on the date of the 23rd, and it should stay there, right? Well, in the close-up shot that happens seconds later, the circle is now completely changed dates, and it's on the 25th. Here's a quick side-by-side, and just what? I guess they got confused in between the shots when animating the episode, but there's still no excuse, dude. Like, how does this mistake happen? It's fine though, the mistakes keep us entertained, right? So let's head over to another episode.
I love you too, Gubby.
All right, next up we have the episode The Gift of Gum, and the plot of this one's very funny. Like, imagine you and your best friend, right? You guys have been best friends for years, and as a gift, he gets you a giant wad of used bubble gum. I guess it's the thought that counts, Patrick, but yeah. All right, mistake time. Here's the first one, and you guys know was good. Try to comment this mistake before I come back in, all right? I know you guys can find this mistake without my help. Let's do this. Roll that footage, please.
The more you touch it, the angrier it gets.
Oh, that's just crazy talk.
This is another one that if you blink, you'll definitely miss it. So first we need to look at Sandy's design. So here's a PNG of our favorite squirrely girl, our favorite Texan. And you'll notice that on her cool, like underwater spacesuit, her sleeves have stripes on them. They're like blue and red, okay? Now here's the issue. So when Sandy says, oh, that's just crazy towel, we can see these stripes on her arm, okay? And there's this one right here that's red, but it actually randomly turns blue for a couple of frames. And then randomly switches back to red. So it's red, then randomly changes to blue, and then changes back to red all in like one shot, which is definitely some sort of glitch in terms of the animation. Like this is definitely a mistake. It's not too bad. Roll the footage.
Told you it was easy.
Okay, so this one is kind of like a common mistake in SpongeBob, and it has to do with SpongeBob's iconic pineapple home. Now, if we look at this beautiful place, this delicious pineapple home, you'll notice that there's windows, okay? And the windows are always usually in the same spot. There's also a chimney, all right? It looks like this. Remember, the chimney's right here on this side of the pineapple. Then there's this window here and this window here. Now, let's do a side-by-side with this shot from The Gift of Gum at the ending of the episode. And you'll notice that both the windows and the chimneys are actually facing the wrong way, weirdly. Normally the chimney's over here on this side, so why is it over here on this side in this episode? This was definitely an error where they flipped SpongeBob's house by mistake. Remember guys, for this to happen, SpongeBob would have to like completely redesign his home, so yeah, 100% a mistake. Let's keep it rolling though guys, lots of weird mistakes coming up, and I'm saving the best for the end. Let's head over to another SpongeBob banger.
Squidward, you look a little different. Wow. Have you been working out?
Actually, Patrick, this is...
Hold it, SpongeBob!
The episode isn't bad, it isn't necessarily good, it's very mixed, to be honest. Some SpongeBob fans like it, some SpongeBob fans hate it. I personally like it, but I mean, who cares? We're here for one thing, and that's exposing mistakes. Like, let's get some animators fired, guys. I'm kidding, I'm joking. But yes, let's expose some mistakes. Here's the first one from Squidward.
Oh, sorry, sir. Can I take your order?
No, I don't like your attitude, bub.
Okay, so let's talk about the Krusty Krab for a second. More the interior of the Krusty Krab, the inside of the restaurant, and its design. As when we look in the restaurant, okay, we can see that in the middle, there's the like cash register area with the boat where Squidward works from. Then to the right of that, there's the door to the fry cook area, like the kitchen where SpongeBob is flipping up those patties. But there's also this door right here to the left that usually leads to Mr. Krabs' office. Now, here's the issue. In Squidward, when this character right here, Sandals, is ordering, there are a couple of shots where the door to Mr. Krabs' office is just completely not drawn. They just forgot to draw it. It should be right here, but it isn't. And not only that, guys, but also, you know the window that like SpongeBob pops out of to hand orders to Squidward, like this window right here? Yeah, in some of those same shots, the window to the kitchen is also missing. Very, very messy, and just, yeah, the animators clearly just forgot to draw both. But I'll forgive them, okay? Their job is pretty hard. 2D animation's a lot of work, but with that said, let's also expose this next mistake from Squidward. Roll that footage! Yeah, I may have covered this one before. I'm not 100% sure, but no matter what, let's talk about it because it's pretty rough. As when this close-up of Mini Squidward playing the clarinet is shown, look, one side of SpongeBob's shirt is just randomly yellow instead of white. This is definitely some sort of layering issue. SpongeBob himself, like his model, is yellow, and I imagine the clothes are put on top of SpongeBob, so I guess like the color from his skin seeped through. I don't know. I'm not an animator, but it's a mistake.
Wish I was back in Texas. The ocean's no place for a squirrel.
Our next episode is Texas, such a good episode from that golden SpongeBob era. Nothing touches Steven Hillenburg. I don't think the show has gotten as bad as some people like to claim. Like, a lot of people like to just act like modern SpongeBob is terrible. When it isn't, you've just grown up and modern SpongeBob is still for kids, it's not for you. But I can't deny that Steven Hillenburg run was amazing, and Texas is a good example. So to be honest, I actually feel kind of bad exposing these mistakes, but I gotta do it.
Look, Patrick, I'm Texas. Howdy, y'all.
I'm Texas, too.
Howdy, y'all.
Get a dog, little Arnie.
Now, this one isn't that big of a deal, and I'm a nerd for even catching it, to be honest, but right before SpongeBob and Patrick start walking around in a circle, if we look closely at SpongeBob, it seems that he has two bottom lip outlines. Here's a PNG of SpongeBob. He normally has one of these right here. Like I said, it's supposed to represent his bottom lip. But yeah, if we look at this frame from Texas, yeah, SpongeBob has two bottom lip outlines when he's only supposed to have one. Not a huge deal, but it is a mistake. And come on, guys, you know that's not it. I got more. Let's head over to another episode. And this is where things get serious, okay, guys? This is where things get spicy. There are a lot of season 6 episodes. Like, season 6, in my opinion, is where the series got like weird, but not in a good way, like a bad weird. And a good example of this is the episode Giant Squidward, where Squidward gets sprayed with this like growth stuff, resulting in him becoming like giant. He becomes like a big boy. And this causes like a lot of problems for the dude. Like, I'm gonna get into the mistakes from this episode, but here's a little compilation of how being giant just ruins Squidward's life.
Squidward, I guess this is your new life. And this is your new bed. Good night, old life.
Yeah, I can imagine being a giant squid would be kind of like annoying. Definitely one of the worst things that has ever happened to Squidward. But anyways, it's mistake time. Here's a very spicy mistake from this episode that's insanely easy to miss. Monster! like I said, it's really, really hard to miss, but when the villagers with torches and weapons in a mob are chasing after Squidward, poor Squidward, like I said, man, this is like one of the worst things that has ever happened to him. He's like a monster. But yeah, when he's being chased by a mob, if we look closely, one of these fishes, all right, one of their white eyes briefly turns red and blue for a split second. It's very easy to miss, but look at it right here. Definitely some sort of animation glitch. That is not good. Like if your eyes look like that, guys, go and see a doctor. Like man has like pink eye or something. He's got red eye.
Slime deodorant chew toy. My leg! Your friends won't tell you this, but you can really use the slime deodorant, Smelly!
Next up, we have a very underrated episode of SpongeBob called Pineapple Invasion. Like, be real, comment if you've seen this episode before. It's pretty obscure. Of course, though, it has mistakes, 2 really bad ones, so here's the first one.
Time to trigger the stench.
Alright, so take a look at the inside of the Krusty Krab. A lot of you guys already know this, but there's always, on the inside, the Galley Grub menu, where it has, like, the items you can order at the Krusty Krab, and the Order Here sign, this green sign right here. Well, in Pineapple Invasion, when this stinky skunk right here just stinks out the place and everybody runs out of it, if we look closely in some shots, the Galley Grub and Order Here signs are completely missing. They should be right here, but the animators just didn't draw them for some reason. Kinda lazy. Plus, especially, it's really bad when in other parts of the episode we can see the Galley Grub menu right here and the Order Here sign right here. So why is it missing in this shot? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they made a mistake. And here's another one from the same episode.
Mr. Krabs, how do you know it'll be safe from plankton at my house?
He'll think it's still here.
Alright, this one is really, really easy to miss. Like, I'm a total nerd for catching it. I say it all the time, but I'm a major nerd for catching this one. But when SpongeBob, like, escapes the Krusty Krab at nighttime with the Krabby Patty secret formula, and he's just about to run off screen, if we pause at the right frame right here, yeah, look, one of SpongeBob's bottom, like, pant legs is transparent. It should be brown, like the rest of his pants, but you can see that they didn't color it in, and then you can see the wood from the Krusty Krab, like, filling it in there, so totally a mistake here. I'm circling it, you can see it right here. That's 2 right there, guys, and let's head over to another episode with even more mistakes.
We got ourselves a nematode infestation!
This next one can be found in the episode Best Day Ever, and here's a hint. This right here is the Krusty Krab sign. Remember this, roll the footage, and let's see if you guys can spot it.
Me building's been condemned, boy!
Yeah, so as you guys just seen, the Krusty Krab sign seems to disappear when SpongeBob arrives to it. It should be here, but it's missing. Like, if we go look at any shot of the Krusty Krab, there is always this iconic clam sign right here. But when SpongeBob arrives in this episode, it's missing. And how we know this is a mistake for sure is, like, when he walks to it, the sign now magically appears right here. Here's a side-by-side, it wasn't there before, and yeah, mistake. And don't click off yet, guys, because it's just gonna get crazier from here. Next up, I've got a season 11 episode for you guys. It's called The String, and this one's like pretty straightforward. It's all about SpongeBob pulling a loose string from Squidward's shirt that never seems to end. I'm gonna play some funny clips from this episode again, and then we'll get right into the mistake, so hold up.
My leg! My pants!
Yeah, who knew they could make an entire episode's plot about a string? But it's actually a pretty good episode. Of course, though, even an episode like this has mistakes. So, roll the footage, here's the mistake.
SpongeBob!
This is another one that's very easy to miss if you're not paying close attention, but as you guys know, Sandy Cheeks over here has a tail. She's a squirrel and she has a big tail, this right here. Well, when SpongeBob unravels Sandy's tail, like you guys just saw in those clips, it just magically reappears again as she's swimming up for air. Like, we literally see Sandy's tail get unraveled and like disappear, but I guess the animators forgot, because then once she's swimming up for air, her tail is now just suddenly back despite it literally just being taken away. I don't know. Definitely a little bit of cartoon logic, but at the same time, this one's kind of like silly. It's a mistake.
My Krusty Krab meal was delicious. I cannot recommend it enough. Huh, well, I was just gonna loiter, but now I think I'll get a Krabby Patty.
What if I told you there's an entire episode of SpongeBob that's about a bulletin board where everybody just makes fun of each other? Yeah, well, it exists. It's the episode literally titled Bulletin Board, and a lot of drama happens in this episode, dude. But I mean, you're not really here for that. You're here for mistakes, and there's 2 spicy mistakes in this episode. Here's a hint. I'm showing a picture of the character on screen. This is Incidental 40. Remember how they look, because you want to look out for them in these clips. That way you can spot the mistake. I know you guys can do it. Roll that footage.
Board has become a bullying board.
Okay, that's it. Everybody out!
Did you guys catch it? Okay, so when Mr. Krabs says, okay, that's it, as SpongeBob is giving his little speech, we can see him walk through these incidentals right here like they're almost a door. And if you were paying attention to the hint I gave you, look, Incidental 40 is just drawn with no arms. We actually get 2 shots of this. We can see him right here with no arms before Mr. Krabs walks through them, and then even after he walks through them and they go back, look, this dude still has no arms. Where are his arms? I think arms are kind of important, guys. Like, imagine if you just didn't have arms. Yeah, Nickelodeon, you did Incidental 40 dirty in this one scene, man. Like, come on. Anyways, though, here's mistake number 2 from Bulletin Board.
This is too big.
Close your mouth when you eat.
Alright, so as you guys just seen, Bubble Bass gets absolutely roasted because he doesn't close his mouth when he eats. And when he reads this, if you look closely, the rims on his glasses, which are normally black, alright? Like, look at these random other shots. If we even go back to Pickles, his debuted episode, his glasses, right? The rims and frames of them are black. But in that one scene I was just mentioning from Bulletin Board, when he reads the note, look, it randomly turns green. I'm showing a side-by-side. And just, yeah, it makes no sense that his glasses would randomly change to green. This was 100% a mistake by the animators, and kind of a funny one. And that's not even it for funny mistakes, because just wait until you see this next one.
Cooking Krabby Patties is my job.
I am here to replace you and all of your kind.
I saw that movie last night, too.
Next up, we have the hilariously titled episode Planet of the Jellyfish, which is a play on of like Planet of the Apes. The plot of this episode is also like really cool, just saying. It's all about an evil jellyfish kidnapping Bikini Bottomites and cloning them. Like, seriously, give this episode a watch when you get a chance, but after this, of course. Don't click off the video. Cause I mean, we've got mistakes to expose, and here's the first one.
Whoa, look at all the customers.
1 Krabby Patty, hold the mayonnaise.
Alright, so really quickly, this right here is Incidental 27. I'm showing a PNG of them. Remember how they look. More specifically, this fin right here, this tail fin. As in Planet of the Jellyfish, when SpongeBob first enters the Krusty Krab, we can see Incidental 27 over here, but something is missing. Yeah, his tail fin was just not drawn. And what makes this really funny is the tail fin isn't there in this shot, but later when he's seen growling at SpongeBob, look, his tail fin is now suddenly there. Here's a side-by-side. It was not there at first, and it just makes for somewhat of a funny mistake. They just forgot to draw it. Poor fish. This next episode of SpongeBob is a good example of why you should always listen to adults and people that know what they're talking about. The episode is Face Freeze, and it's all about SpongeBob and Patrick making faces just like these. Roll the clip.
I love it. What do you think of this?
Seems fun, right? Just making a bunch of funny faces until their faces get frozen. Take a look at this.
Patrick, we have the face freeze. Patrick, Sandy was right. We need help.
Poor SpongeBob and Patrick, but to be honest, we should be saying poor SpongeBob animators because I got mistakes to expose from this episode. Take a look at this. And here's a hint. I want you to pay attention to where Squidward would normally work inside the Krusty Krab, okay? Roll that footage.
I know that sound. It's the sound of me money being flushed down the toilet.
This is another one that's very easy to miss unless you're like paying close attention. When the camera pans to Mr. Krabs' office, you'll notice that not only is the Krusty Krab cash register missing, this is normally where it is right here. Here's a shot from another episode. Yeah, the cash register is missing, as you can see, but also the order window is missing. This one's really bad. This is the window where SpongeBob always pops out and annoys Squidward. They just didn't draw it. Like, I don't know how they forgot to draw this in the Krusty Krab. It's kind of important. Mistakes happen though, and here's another one.
Come on, SpongeBob, chop chop!
Okay, okay.
This one we're definitely gonna have to slow down a little bit so people catch it, but when Squidward ducks behind the wall in the clips you guys just seen, after he says chop chop, we can actually see that he clips through the wall, meaning that he like goes through the wall, which as you guys know, you can't just walk through walls. He doesn't have like invisible powers. If you were to go and walk into a wall, you would smack into it. Your arm wouldn't go through it. So yeah, this is totally a mistake. I'm playing it in slow motion again, and yeah, you can see he's clipping through that wall. That's not supposed to happen. I'm gonna make this one another quick one. The episode is Goo Goo Gas, and this one's all about one of Plankton's nastiest schemes yet, where he finds a way to turn everybody in Bikini Bottom into babies. Like, look at baby SpongeBob, dude. He's so cute. As a matter of fact, here's a quick highlight of all the different baby characters in this episode, or all the baby versions of characters, and then we'll get into the mistake. Aw, they're so cute, but what's not cute are the mistakes in this episode, guys. I hate to switch it up, but let's get to the mistakes. Here's the first one. Try and catch it and comment it before I come back in and reveal it, guys. I know you can do it.
Victory is mine!
You kids get off my lawn!
It was almost too easy.
All right, so as you guys just seen in those clips, Plankton is seen running out of the Krusty Krab with a Krabby Patty. And if we look at this Krabby Patty, it's just a regular Krabby Patty. It isn't a cheeseburger, it's a regular burger. No cheese is on that burger. Getting kind of hungry now. Now I kind of want a burger. Actually, really quickly, guys, I'm gonna order a burger on Uber Eats real quick. 1 second. Let me get this one and let's order. Okay, perfect. My food's on the way, guys. But as you've seen, the Krabby Patty has no cheese on it when he's running out of the Krusty Krab. But here's the problem, dude. When we see him actually leave the Krusty Krab, there is cheese on the patty. So we can see there's cheese on it, but then there's no cheese on it. Here's a side-by-side, and you can tell at first the animators drew it with cheese, but then in this shot, they were too lazy to put the cheese slice on the burger. Poor Plankton, he got gypped. All right, here's mistake number 2 from Goo Goo Gas.
Release me!
Right after the party, the pinata party!
What?
This one's pretty straightforward and kind of funny. So as you guys know, Bikini Bottom is in the ocean. All right, so there isn't like a ceiling. They're not in a building. The sky just keeps on going up. If they keep on going up, they go out of water and then they're at Bikini Atoll, as you can see here. And then they could just keep on going in the sky to space, as you can see in this shot from Goons on the Moon. Well, in Goo Goo Gas, there's a moment where Plankton gets caught, all right? And he's put in a net. And as we can see, he's hanging in this net right here. But here's the problem, guys. They're underwater and they're not in a building. So what is this hanging from? Is it just floating in the air? Like, think about it. This thing right here would need to be tied to something. And based on what we've seen in this episode, it looks like it's literally just floating in the ocean from like hanging from the top of the ocean. I don't know, but this was a mistake. The animators definitely didn't think about this part very clearly. So yeah. Next up in the episode is Sing a Song of Patrick. This is another very obscure episode where Patrick writes a song and submits it to a record label. It's actually like an interesting plot. Here are some funny clips of what happens in the episode, and then we'll get into the mistake.
Lucky.
All right, it's mistake time, and here's a hint. All the mistakes in this episode focus around our boy Fred, the dude who's always like, my leg. That guy right there. Dude needs to be careful with his leg. Like, there's just always something happening. But yeah, 2 mistakes revolving around him. Pay close attention and roll that footage, baby.
Let's get him, boys!
Oh.
You know, it's not that bad.
Okay, so this one's a weird continuity error. So we get 2 shots of Fred in the clips you guys just seen. And at first, he's wearing brown pants, as you can see right here, all right? Our boy's just shirtless with these brown pants with his belt, okay? However, though, if we take a look at this other shot of him from the same scene, the animators forgot about the brown pants and just randomly give him blue pants. They even change his belt a little bit. Like, what? Here's a side-by-side? And I highly doubt while the dude was in the middle of being in a mob while holding a torch, decided to randomly change his pants. And look, I'm just saying, guys, I know incidental characters get duplicated all the time, but Fred is like a full-on character now. He had an entire episode about him called My Leg. So there only is one Fred, and I doubt he changed his pants, so this is a mistake. And here's one more. This is an audio error though, okay? Here's a hint. This is incidental 27 right here, and I want you to pay attention to them. They shouldn't be speaking, but you guys pay attention to them and you'll see the mistake. Roll the footage.
The song!
Who's responsible for that song on the radio?
Why, he's right here. Patrick Star, musical genius.
Alrighty, like I said, this is an audio error. So, when Fred says, who's responsible for that song on the radio, just as he begins to say it and says, who's re, if we look over to Incidental 27 over here, his lips sync to what Fred is saying, despite the fact that Incidental 27 isn't saying anything here. They're not speaking at all. So you can see that they were supposed to animate Fred to say this line, but the animators messed up and also animated Incidental 27 to say this line as well, when they don't actually say the line. Hopefully you guys get it, but it's a pretty bad mistake. I mean, come on.
Time to get back to cooking. Where's the grill?
Oh, I took it outside to air dry.
Next up, we have the episode The Grill is Gone, and this is a very obscure episode. I don't see people talking about it all that much, but I will say it is a fairly underrated episode in my opinion. It's actually pretty good. Anyways though, here's the mistake.
Zip it, boyo.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Krabs. Not everybody will tell you more.
Alright, so at the ending of this episode, alright, we get this scene where all of these characters take the Krusty Krab and they slide down with the Krusty Krab. Also in this episode, we're introduced to these two twins, this boy and girl twin, brother and sister duo. Now, before they roll down the hill on the Krusty Krab, we can see that the boy twin is sitting here and that the girl twin is sitting here. But here's the problem. Once the Krusty Krab actually starts sliding down, they have completely switched places and now the girl is here and the boys here. Like, here's a side-by-side showing you. And I mean, they're literally on a moving restaurant. They wouldn't be able to switch spots randomly, so this was definitely a mistake. They drew it like this, and then when the sliding was happening, they drew it like this. And guys, that's nothing compared to some of these other mistakes coming up. Let's head over to another episode.
What else did you buy at this convention? Your very own locomotive?
Yes.
Alright, this is definitely a really, really bad one, which is why we're talking about it now. It's in the episode Professor Squidward, okay? And here's a hint, it has to do with this character, Incidental F9. Pay attention to both these clips I'm gonna play, and yeah, let's see if you guys can spot it. Try to comment the mistake before I come back in and like spoil it.
Isn't it grand?
What is?
He's such a great musician. He doesn't even have to touch an instrument.
All right, I've had enough.
Did you guys catch it? Like I said, it has to do with Incidental F9 here, as throughout a majority of the scenes you guys just seen, Incidental F9 is wearing a dress. It's hard to see in some angles, but as you can see, they are wearing a dress. Here's the issue though, once Fred says, isn't it grand? We actually get a shot of Incidental F9 not wearing the dress, like the dress is just missing. If you look closely, you can see that she's low-key just not wearing anything. You can't see anything inappropriate, don't worry parents, but she has nothing on, which just, yeah, is totally a mistake. I don't think that was intentional, guys. I highly doubt they just didn't draw her dress in this one shot on purpose.
Action figures!
Ugh. Can a person be any nerdier?
I can.
Next up, we have the episode Goons on the Moon, which is a banger, but you guys know what's coming. I gotta expose this mistake. Here's a hint. You want to pay attention to the doors of Sandy's tree dome, okay? Let's take a look at this. Alright, hopefully you guys spotted the mistake, but this one is kind of a tricky one, so don't worry, Cartoon Corey's got you. After all, I have no life and spend every day looking for SpongeBob mistakes, so I mean, I definitely got you. But anyways, at the beginning of this episode, we can see that there is an airlock on Sandy's tree dome, and this is to make sure that air is locked in her tree dome, because as you guys know, Sandy's a squirrel, so she can't just breathe water like fish. She needs her tree dome, which has air in it. Yada, 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 da-da-da-da-da, you guys know. But yeah, we see this airlock right here. But here's the thing, we get a similar shot during the liftoff scene, where we can see the same spot, which should have the airlock, but look, the airlock is missing. So here's a side-by-side, the airlock was there, but then in this one shot, the airlock is just gone. Poof, it magically disappeared, and this is a mistake. And a bad one too, because without that airlock, guys, Sandy, rip, R.I.P. Next up, we have a good old classic. We have Sailor Mouth. This episode is literally all about swearing, where SpongeBob and Patrick use words like these.
Hello, customers. Nice day we're having, huh? Today's special is a Krabby Krabby Patty.
These are swears in Bikini Bottom, and you guys should never repeat them. This episode is iconic, and I'm sure if you ask any SpongeBob fan, they'll tell you this is one of their like top 20, top 10 episodes. It's definitely one of mine, even though it has mistakes. Let's dive into one right now, guys. And here's a hint, pay close attention to Mama Krabs. I'm showing a PNG of her on screen. This is Mama Krabs. Pay attention to her.
I guess you scallywags have earned a glass of lemonade. My foot!
Alrighty, so as you guys just seen, at the ending of the episode, we see Grandma Krabs making SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs paint her home. And eventually, she ends up stubbing her foot. Now, here's the mistake, guys. So we see that Betsy Krabs over here stubs this foot right here. I believe it's her right foot that she stubs, as you can see here, but remember, it's this foot. This is the foot that she hits, and it hurts. But the problem is, like, when she goes to lift up her foot and hold the foot that was hurt, she grabs her other leg. So this is the leg that she hits, but then when she like grabs her hurt leg to like kiss it better and like soothe it, she grabs the wrong leg. Like, girl, what is wrong with you? This is the leg you hurt. Why are you lifting up this leg? Like, what? This same thing also happens with Mr. Krabs. Take a look at this real quick.
We're gonna give the Krusty Krab a fresh coat of paint from top to bottom. Wow! Oh, my foot!
Yeah, as you can see, when Mr. Krabs is coming out with the paint, he stubs his right foot, but for some reason, this dude holds his left foot, the one that is not injured. Very, very funny, guys.
We have showers, a courtyard, and 3 square meals a day. All chum.
This next episode is another obscure one. I'm like 90% sure a lot of you lovely people have never watched this episode, and you're not missing much. It's not the best episode. Honestly, it's called Call the Cops. And we got 2 mistakes. Try to comment the mistake before I come back in and explain it. I know you guys can do it. You guys don't even need me to find mistakes. You guys can do it on your own. Roll that footage.
He's over there! Stop him! Miss me!
Alright, hopefully you guys caught it, but if not, Cartoon Corey's got you. So at the beginning of the episode, when Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob are chasing Plankton, we can see that these customers, all of these customers are eating their Krabby Patties. Look at this dude. We can literally see him eating the patty, but the problem is despite how long this scene is, none of the patties end up having bites out of them. So the customers are just eating the Krabby Patties infinitely. They're just eating them constantly, and they're not getting any bites out of them. A very, very strange mistake. And here's mistake number 2 from Call the Cops.
Have you got a license to sell these?
I don't have a license.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's classified.
This one is much worse. So throughout SpongeBob, a very common thing are bubble animations. And don't worry guys, this isn't a rough draft Korea bubble transition error. I know you guys probably know what I mean when I say that. This is a completely different type of error, but here are some examples of bubble transitions in SpongeBob, all right? You can see one here. Here's another one. They're a staple of the show. Well, in Call the Cops, when SpongeBob takes Helen the Felon to jail, as this bubble transition starts, we can actually see that they both just suddenly disappear out of frame as the bubble transition is happening. We kind of have to slow things down, but yeah, they just disappear, guys. You know what's also gonna disappear though? Some of these Nickelodeon animators when I expose this next episode's mistakes.
Would you be our coach for the finals?
What? I got better things to do than help you 2 dopes.
Like polishing your empty trophy case?
We're gonna be dancing in this next episode, guys, because we're talking about slimy dancing. And I've covered this episode many times before, but I actually found a new mistake that is like hilarious, okay? This mistake is really funny. You need to hear this clip though for it to make sense. Roll the footage.
The rulebook clearly states a single dancer must perform without any further assistance from a partner.
All right, so let me explain, guys. So in this episode, there's a big dance competition that Squidward wants to enter in and win. SpongeBob and Patrick also enter the competition. Now here's the thing. The rules of this competition state that a single dancer cannot be assisted by a partner. So this means that if you're going to enter the contest, you can only dance by yourself. You can't get help from anybody else, and you can't dance with another person. It's a solo act. But here's the problem, right? In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick both audition together as a team, despite the rules, and they even make it to the finals of the competition, when again, the rules state that you cannot do it as a team or a pair, you must do it by yourself. So that right there is a mistake. And also, this seahorse character right here should have also been kicked out of the competition because it's a 2-person costume. As you can see, there's 2 people in the costume, which again, you cannot be assisted by a partner. As you guys literally heard in those those clips, so I'm rambling a bit, but this is a really funny mistake if you think about it. Here's one more from Slimy Dancing, though.
By unanimous decision, we have a winner.
Mine! I won! I won!
I'll make this one quick because it's very, very straightforward. But when Squidward uses his arms to collect the trophy, look, SpongeBob's teeth turn yellow, which I don't even need to tell you guys is a mistake. As you can see here, his teeth are normally white. So yeah, still lots of mistakes to come though, guys. Do not click off yet. Things are going to get spicy.
That is the stupidest dance move I've ever seen.
Who put you on the planet?
Up next, we have I Heart Dancing, another dancing-themed SpongeBob episode. How fitting. This time, though, instead of SpongeBob potentially sabotaging Squidward's edition at the dance competition, this one's all about Squidward trying to sabotage SpongeBob. It's actually pretty funny. Here are some funny clips, and then we're gonna get right into the mistakes. They're really bad. Okay, it's mistake time. Here's the first mistake.
I'm gonna keep working on your routine until you get it right. And I don't care how long it takes. Now watch closely.
All right, so soon after SpongeBob's cane dance here, if we watch very closely and we pause at the right frame, wait for it, boom, the animators just completely forgot to color in Squidward's nose, leaving it just transparent. It's only for a frame, but his nose just has no color. Look at how weird that looks, dude. Squidward, go get a nose, man. All right, this episode's about dancing, guys, so let's dance on to mistake number 2 from I Heart Dancing. Roll the footage, please.
I got music, friend. In my mind. Oh, I love this song.
This one is admittedly potentially some cartoon logic, but it's still kind of weird, and the way it's kind of presented is kind of lazy. Now, in the clips you guys just saw, SpongeBob is seen wearing his Krusty Krab employee hat. But then we get this gag where he pulls his brain literally out of his head. And when he does this, we don't see the hat fly off or anything, but he's just not wearing the hat anymore. All right, the hat is off of his head. The issue though is literally a second later when SpongeBob begins dancing, despite the hat missing in the last shot, it now reappears as he's dancing, making for just a messy scene. It's there, then it's not there, and then it's back again. Talk about a continuity error.